It's time for Huntingdon Bearcat football on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Presented by Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community. And by D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family. Tonight's game is also brought to you by Simone Family Chiropractic at 613 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon. Penswoods.net, the home of free classified ads. And by Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing of Huntingdon. And now, with all the action of tonight's Bearcat football game, here's Statman Chad States and Dave Shannon, live on the Air Network and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
Catch the fresh fall savings now at the all-new Save-A-Lot in Huntingdon off of 4th Street in the Peebles Plaza. The all-new Save-A-Lot is a bright, clean, spacious store loaded with the freshest hand-cut meats, along with the freshest produce and groceries in the area. Check out their in-store specials. You'll always save more every day at the all-new Save-A-Lot store, right off of 4th Street at the entrance of the Peebles Plaza in Huntingdon.
Penswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Penswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Penswood.net Classifieds has it. Penswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
I'm Jarris Warner. I'm listening to the Bearcats on the airnetwork.net.
And welcome to Huntingdon Moore Betts Field in Huntingdon as the Bearcats get ready to take on the Phillipsburg Mounties. I'm Dave Shannon, joined by Chad States tonight. And the Bearcats coming in undefeated. I was noticing one of the things that if you have an undefeated season as a football team here, you end up getting your year and everything right on the old press box. And not the press box, but the concession stand down there.
That's correct.
So taking a look there, you have to go back to 2003 for that undefeated season. And we'll see, obviously after tonight's game, 2 more regular season contests. And we don't know a lot about Warren, but we do know that Central is a tough team. And Chad's keeping an eye on high school games coming up tonight. And the game between Central and Bellefonte could be telling as to maybe you want to start to make some predictions as to how next week's game is going to turn out.
Yeah, that's a big game. That's probably the game of the week in the Mountain Conference. Central is at, I believe they are at Bellefonte this evening, and we'll see what happens there as we keep an eye on that score. But tonight, Dave, is an interesting game where obviously we've got senior night. Huntington rolls in with a unblemished record at 8-0. Phillipsburg, on the other side of that, rolls in with a 1-7 record. Their only win coming against West Branch, the first game of the season, 32-14. Since then, it's been 7 straight losses.
It's always a tough thing for a team to get any kind of traction, especially late in the season when you've had this tough of a season as Phillipsburg has had as far as wins and losses go. And what you have to do at that point is pick out the good things that have happened for you over the course of the season. Quarterback Dan Lagoski, certainly a pretty integral part of what Mountie's success there has been this year.
Yeah, he's thrown for 617 yards. His favorite target ends up being T.J. Thompson with 236 yards, and Landon I'm sorry, let me figure out who that other guy is that he throws to. It would be running back Matt Johnson. But Slagowski's the guy who makes the PO offense go. Offense is very similar to Huntington. They run that spread offense with one running back in the backfield. So we'll see very much a similar type of look. So the Huntington defense should be used to seeing what that offense looks like out here. And Dave, over the course of the last 2 weeks, but even through the whole year, but especially the last 2 weeks, we've seen what this Huntington defense brings to the table, and it's a lot, and it's nasty. And I expect the same thing to happen this evening.
couple of records on the line here that could be established tonight, and that's going to be Jonathan Price. He needs a couple of catches, 73 yards to become the all-time leader in both categories. That'll be eclipsing Courtney Geddick, who happened to be a trivia question answer.
Yes, he did, and he set that in 1998 whenever Huntington had that great football team. Another thing that could happen tonight, Border needs 24 yards to reach 1,000. Andrew Hootie needs 44 yards to reach 1,000. The last time Huntington did that was in 2005 when Bucky Culbertson and Kyle Kuiper accomplished that feat. I did have a footnote down here, Dave, that was wrong. Huntington has had a 1,000-yard passer, 1,000-yard receiver, and 1,000-yard rusher in the same season. That came in 1998, so I was incorrect in posting that. That was during that great 1998 season. But again, we're going to look at some potential records to fall, but the most important record that you want to look at the end of the night is the number 8, and that means 8-0 as the Huntington Bearcats try to get out to that 8-0 record and keep that top spot, that all-important top spot in the District 6 standings.
And many of the times that we talk about this football team, we talk about the offensive prowess of the Huntingdon Bearcats, and we don't mean to short. We're not trying to short the defense. We're well aware of how important they are to this currently 7-0 season that this team has. And no better, to me, and I'm going to talk to Coach Hootie about this, no better indication of that when you have your opposition in the red zone and you suddenly, after a number of plays, find them back at the 42-yard line instead of being in the red zone. It says a lot about your defense.
Absolutely. So. I mean, the opponent is only converting 67% in the red zone, and that's low. I mean, when you get in there, usually teams score. Conversely, Huntington's only allowing 14.3 points per game. So, you know, when you look at the offense is averaging almost 46 points per game. So you can see the disparity between the two. Another team, Dave, we don't want to shortchange is the special teams have been special for Huntington all season long. Not too many people can say that they have a field goal kicker who's perfect in all his field goals, including the 40-yarder that he kicked, and that being Gio Scaccia. But also, if you look at the returners and what Jacob Wagner and Jonathan Price have done all year long, it's pick your poison. Huntington's winning in 3 phases of the football game, and that's hard to do. Not a lot of teams can do that.
We'll come back and we'll talk to the head coach of the Bearcats, Mike Hootie, after we take this time out. You're listening to Huntingdon Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
Pennswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Pennswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Pennswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Pennswood.net Classifieds has it. Pennswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of insured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community, and they've got loads of activities in October. The Moose proudly presents the Huntingdon Halloween Parade on Monday, October 23rd in downtown Huntingdon. Come on down with the entire family and enjoy the evening. Also in October, you can enjoy our Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. Then on Saturday, October 14th, it's Reboot from 8 to 11 p.m. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223. So join us today.
Sometimes facts are hard to face. Statistics show that obesity is a problem in the United States, and it's not getting any better. At Simone Family Chiropractic, we understand this problem. We also know that obesity leads to very serious health problems later in life. There is a way to cleanse your body and get back to optimum health. It is called the Doctor-Supervised Chirothin System, and it teaches you how and what to eat in the real world. Call us at Simone Family Chiropractic at 814-643-2616, or stop in and see us at 613 Washington Street in Huntingdon, across from All American Pizza, or find us on Facebook.
Hi, this is Coach Hootie. The Huntingdon Bearcats are on the airnetwork.net.
Here with the head coach of the Huntingdon Bearcats, Mike Hootie, getting ready for tonight's contest between the Phillipsburg Mounties and the Bearcats. And, Coach, looking back at last week, two things really stood out to me. And that was a defensive stand that you guys made toward the end of the first half where they were in the red zone and they ended up at about the 42-yard line. That was a heck of a job by the defense there.
Yeah, we're getting better. One thing I'm noticing is it takes us, people get used to a team and, they tighten the clamps, so to speak. So we appear to be good at doing that.
And the other thing that I wanted to compliment you and your coaching staff on, that eventually led to a point where you guys had red zone activity. And the way you guys managed the clock at the end of the first half to get those points at the end of the first half, that was some real artistry. You guys did a great job.
Well, we practice a 2-minute drill, and we have some other calls that are on the ball, like real quick plays. So kids wonder why they never use it. Well, they used it the other night, and then it just reinforces why we do it, so.
Well, and you guys too, because you used your timeouts at just what seemed to be the precise time you needed to do that.
Well, it's all of us thinking together on the sideline. We're like, hey, we could, somebody's thinking of this, and hey, we could use a timeout here. So we're I thank God for good help.
Yeah. Well, we one of the things you're fond of saying is referring to each game as another block in the foundation of this particular season. This will be block number 8 coming up tonight against Phillipsburg Osceola. And this is going to be an interesting game for you guys to continue to play hard and stay focused.
Yeah, to us, it's game 8. I don't care who it is. If it's Oklahoma or UCLA, we're got to get ready to play no matter what. So,
big one last week. Of course, we've talked about Gio before. Big field goal there, 40-some yard field goal, and it's like you said, you've seen him kick him in practice at the 50-yard range. So, not really a surprise there.
No, we know what his range is, and we went for it. He's got to experience that anyway. So,
One thing that you have going for you again tonight, even though I would term this more when you think football weather, this is a little bit closer than what we were experiencing at the end of August and beginning of September. But you've been blessed with good weather throughout the course of the season. That's got to help too.
Yeah, and look, we're thankful for that.
Yeah, it's been certainly a surprise, and we haven't any of the wet times seem to have come earlier in the week, so that when game time comes on a Friday, things are good to go.
This is Ben Briggs, and you're listening to the Huntingdon Bearcats on the Air Network.net.
And welcome back to Huntingdon Moorvets Field as Gio Scaccia approaches the football and kicks it off, and we have our game underway. Bearcats kicking away to Phillipsburg Osceola. Ball fielded at the 10, taken out over the 20, and brought down near the 25-yard line. Josh Bryan for the Phillipsburg Osceola Mounties, and the Mounties have the ball there, 1st and 10.
Nice tackle that time by Draven Zook and Jonathan Price. As Huntington won the toss, they deferred to the second half, so that's why Huntington was kicking off there. Phillipsburg moving from right to left and getting ready to get started here on offense and facing this tough and what I had said nasty Bearcat defense.
Moving from right to left with the white uniform jerseys and navy pants for the Phillipsburg Osceola Mounties with big wide stripe. It starts tiny up at the hip and widens out down near the knee. There's a handoff, and that goes for basically no gain as the stingy defense is managing to stop P.O. once again.
It's like that was number 8, Keegan Perks, on the carry for no gain.
So no gain in the play, 2nd down and 10, and a little bit of hurry up here. P.O. trying to take a page out of maybe the Penn State playbook where they come up to the line right away, and then quarterback Daniel Slogoski takes a look over at the sidelines. Slogoski with a pass, and it's complete here in the near flat on this side of the field to Nick Keith.
Yeah, nice flare pass that time by Slogoski as he hit him out here in the flat, as you said, Dave. And you're right, P.O.'s coming up to the line, fast. And I think that's what they need to do is they need to try to up the tempo to catch Huntingdon off guard to see if they can get some success here in the passing game.
Pass completion to Keith netted 5 yards for Phillipsburg Osceola to set up a 3rd down and 5, and a big test for them, and of course a big test for the Bearcats defense as well early in the game. Back to pass is Slagoski over the middle and off the fingertips of Brandon Anderson of the Mounties, and it falls incomplete.
Yeah, and I think
he delivered that right there.
He did. It was right there, but I think he was looking to run before he made the catch there, as he had clear vision up ahead of him, but the ball hit his hands, dropped down, and Huntingdon once again holds their opponent on 3rd down and forces the punt here for Phillipsburg.
Not the first receiver in America that ever started the run before he actually had the ball in his possession. 4th down and 5, and the Mounties to kick to Jonathan Price, although probably we'll try to avoid kicking it to Jonathan Price if they're smart.
The dangerous Jonathan Price. He already has a punt return for a touchdown this year. End-over-end punt that time.
Kick is away, and it hits at about the 39 and is going to roll dead at probably the 38 is where they're going to mark it. The kick from Luke Smartwood of Phillipsburg Osceola landing there, and Bearcats have great field position on their first possession of the night.
Yeah, and getting it without any return yardage at that point in time. But again, setting up at the 38 for Huntingdon, and we'll see this spread offense come out to play here right off of the bat. Border needs 25 yards to be able to reach the 1,000-yard plateau. Andrew Hootie needs 44 yards passing to reach the 1,000-yard plateau, as we alluded to earlier.
They're in the area of the field that is showing, the only area of the field that's showing a lot of wear from this season. Ian Border on the pitch.
Slipped.
And he slips and goes down right around the 37-yard line. So it's going to be a no gain. Nope, it's going to be a loss. Now, I have a real problem with where the chain gang has the down marker set up, because I thought they set that down at the 38, and they're way closer to the 40 than where that ball was initially spotted at. Bottom line is, at this particular point, it's going to be 2nd down and 11 statistically. If you look at it here on the field, it would be 2nd down and 12 by the chain gang. So we'll have to ignore them on this particular set of downs. Man in motion, Jonathan Price. Here's the handoff to Border. Borders takes a little bit of a hesitation move as he approaches the 40-yard line, and instead of a hole opening up for him, it allowed P.O. to get in on him. It's going to end up being a gain of, we'll call that a gain of 3. Yeah. 3rd down and now 9 yards to go. Well, actually, we'd have to call that 8 yards by the initial spot that we had. If we're sticking with the chain gang, it's 3rd and 9.
It's always hard to tell without hash marks.
Yes, it is.
Even for the referees.
And obviously for the chain gang. Back to pass is Hootie. Hootie lets it go. Near sideline. Jonathan Price with a catch at the 25-yard line. And a touchdown saving tackle for Phillipsburg Osceola. That comes from Micah Martin of the Mounties. But Price, well in the open. Hootie led him perfectly. He didn't have to slow down, move one side or the other. Hit him in stride.
Yeah, and he never looked off of him. He went right back. He knew exactly where he was making that throw to, and Jonathan Price was wide open for the catch. 44-yard gain on 3rd down for the Bearcats.
So are we at the record
Nope.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay. Hootie hands the ball out to Border. He tries the left side, gets down over the 15, and then more Ian Border type run. Ian's since he had that ankle injury in the game here, I'm not saying there's anything in particular wrong with him, but he does seem to be a little less speedy.
He's a little hesitant.
Yeah.
He's not hitting his holes as hard as what we have seen him hit. Plus, he slipped out here. We were marking how good the field looked, but maybe there's a little something going on in the field that's a little slippery out there.
And when your ankle's hurting you, that's the least of all things you need. 8:25 left to go, first quarter. No score in the ball game. It's a keep by Andrew Hootie as first down and more. He's going into the end zone. Touchdown, Andrew Hootie. And the Bearcats jump out to a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, nice job. Nice play call there as Andrew Hootie was able to keep the ball from 12 yards out. Just kind of work his way back and forth in the middle there, all the way in for the score. And the touchdown for Huntingdon. And Huntingdon is out to a 6-0 lead.
There were about 2 almost jump cuts there by Andrew Hootie on the way into the end zone, but channeling his inner Trace McSorley and gets into the end zone. Gio Scacci in for the point after out of the Jarris Warner hold. The kick is up, and the kick is no good.
The point after is
so
no good.
Gio misses a point after, and if there's been a weakness at all in his game, it has been that.
Yeah.
And not quite sure why.
Yeah, that's his 5th missile in the year from for an extra point standpoint. And that's something you need to button up heading into the playoffs because teams, those points matter. Every one of them
Yeah, and
does.
you don't want to be backed into that corner the next time you score. You got to go for 2 because 2-point conversions, no matter what level of football, are certainly difficult to convert. Hey, I do want to remind everybody that we are welcoming to the all-new Save-A-Lot store off 4th Street in the People's Plaza, joining tonight's broadcast of Bearcat football on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Next time you need some groceries, head to the Save-A-Lot, and you'll save a lot. 8:13 left to go, first quarter. Bearcats up 6-0. And Gio Scacci will tee it up at the 40 to kick it away to Phillipsburg.
Is Scacci. Returning for the Mounties is Bryan and Johnson.
Back deep, Josh Bryan and Matt Johnson to return for the Mounties. Gio with a hand up, approaching the football. And he gets it away. A nice spinning one, not very deep though, fielded at the 18, out over the 20, 25, 30, and some good special teams play by the Bearcats as it is, that's Ryder Kosick.
Ryder Kosick Jr. coming up and making a nice stop on that, and an untypical short kick that time for Gio. Nonetheless, it's going to give Phillipsburg good field position here. Yeah, jump in the time machine here at good field position at the 34.
34-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Mounties, 3 and out on their first possession. Bearcat defense right back out there in the field. And it's a quick handoff, inside handoff to Keegan Parks. And Perks, that is. And Perks makes it out over the 35 to about the 36-yard line. Give him a gain of 2 and a 2nd down and 8. For Phillipsburg Osceola.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough sledding in the middle of that Bearcat defense. One guy they are missing in particular tonight is Isaiah Reed. Isaiah is out with mono and not able to play tonight, and he's been an absolute animal for the Bearcats on defense. So,
yep,
a good job that time by Ryan Corey from the linebacker position.
Ooh, high snap. Reeled in nicely by Slogoski to no avail as he gets the ball to Keegan Parks, and Parks ends up being brought down at about the 32-yard line. And he ends up losing about 4 yards on that play.
Yeah, and as you see out of the Bearcat defense, just excellent pursuit of strong safety Andrew Finkel and middle linebacker Ryan Corey all over that pitch to the outside.
Making a loss of 3 and a 3rd down and 11 for the Mounties. Trying to get something going against this, as Chad has called it, stout Bearcat defense, which jumped offside. As we pay them the compliments, little adversity, Zach Peck in a hurry to get across that line, and Zach jumped it.
It's another talented sophomore that Huntington has on their team. It's a good class of kids in this sophomore class. But, yeah, you're right, Zach got a little bit ambitious there. Just move forward just a little bit. He knew it. He shook his head as soon as he did it, but gives Phillipsburg 5 yards, an all-important 5 yards for them.
Sets up a 3rd down and 6. And once again, the chain gang guys are really confusing over there. Here's the pass downfield from Soligoski, and the pass falls incomplete as the intended receiver, T.J. Thompson, ends up going down, and that brings the laundry out on the field.
Well, one thing you are allowed to do is you are allowed to face guard. So Drew Weglars didn't have to turn whenever he was following Anderson or Thompson down the sidelines. But what he had to do was not run over him. And, they got tripped up, and it didn't give Thompson a chance to catch a ball, even though he's not going to make that catch because the ball was overthrown. Nonetheless, it's a 15-yard penalty and a 1st down for Phillipsburg.
One of the things folks may get confused about is in pro football, it's the spot of the foul. And in high school and college, it's a penalty that is marked off. So it's not a spot foul.
And it's not an automatic 1st down. If it's 1st and 20 and you get a 15-yard penalty on that, Now it becomes, or 2nd and 20, now it becomes 2nd and 5. So it's not an automatic first down.
But it is a first down in this particular case, 1st and 10. Mounties in Bearcat territory at the Bearcats 47. Slogoski, the quarterback. Handoff again, and the Bearcat defense is in the backfield as he hands off to Keegan Parks, and Parks goes down in the backfield for a loss. It's going to be a loss of 3, and that'll bring up a 2nd down and 13 with 6:25 left to go here in the first quarter.
4 carries for Parks and minus 5 yards is what he's looking at. Again, as this Huntingdon defense is just collapsing on the run and making sure that Phillipsburg has nowhere to go. So Phillipsburg's really going to have to get this done through the air, Dave.
2nd down and 13. Slogoski back to pass. Now has to roll out of the pocket to his right. Lets it go toward the sideline out of the pocket, and they do throw the flag.
Slogoski's pass.
Yeah, there was nobody in the area.
Yeah, that's true.
Even though he threw it out of there was nobody in the area. And it's a big penalty because it's a spot foul. So it's not only a loss of down, but it's also a spot foul. And you see how far back he drifted. So we're going to look initially at a 10.
It's going
13,
from the 40. They're going to mark it from the 40 back.
Yep. So it's going to be a. See where he marks that.
Intentional grounding.
Oh, they're only going to mark it from the line of scrimmage. Usually it's a spot foul, and then move it back from there. But
they're going to mark it at the 40.
So just a 10-yard penalty. Maybe they changed that in high school, but normally that's a spot foul. Regardless, it's a loss of down.
Yes. It is now 3rd down and Stone Creek, as they have a good chunk of ground to come up with here, 23, as a matter of fact. Back to pass, Slogoski. Pocket begins to collapse. Nice completion over the middle. Matt Johnson with a reception at the 48-yard line. So that was a big hit delivered there, too.
Yeah, Andrew Finkel coming up from a strong safety position and making sure he didn't get anywhere else for that. But nice job that time by Huntingdon.
And a 4th down, and, of course, you wonder about the relative wisdom of this. They're going to go for it on 4th down. And you might expect that inside the 40, but they're almost out at midfield. And there's a sack of quarterback Daniel Slogoski in the backfield as the sack, Alex Mikett sack machine for the Bearcats ends up taking him down. And they mark him down at the 47-yard line of the Bearcats. So once again, questioning the wisdom. I don't know what they have as far as punting goes at Phillipsburg Osceola, but that would not have been my first choice.
No, and I think this is one of those things, Dave, where you've got a 1-7 record. You've got to try to make something happen. You've got to try to put yourself in a position to score, to do something, because you're facing an 8-0 team here, and really it's tough sledding all the way through.
Snap to Hootie, hands off to Border. Border gets tripped up as he reaches the line of scrimmage and falls forward to about the 45-yard line for a gain of 2 and a 2nd down and 8. And that may all well be true, what you said about Phillipsburg Osceola, but by the same token, I don't want to put my team – I don't mind doing that inside the 40.
Right.
I have a problem with that. You haven't really demonstrated that you're going to be able to get a first down, so why get the team's morale any worse off than what it is, and it ends up being your quarterback getting sacked and Huntingdon takes over in your territory. And it is 2nd down and 8. Snap to Hootie, hands off to Border, a little bit of a delay by Border, and he gets out to the 45 and falls forward. I think they'll mark him down. Well,
that's no gain. Yeah, it's no gain.
It's a no gain.
And if you noticed, his feet, when he started to run, they're slipping out from underneath him. So there's something going on out here on this turf that he's not able to get traction.
Could be a shoe issue.
It could be, but he's not able to get traction out here. That's the second time that I've seen him slip on this turf. So there's something going on out here.
And one thing I can tell you, being down on the field to talk to the coach, the grass is extremely high, not what you necessarily expect. You tend to lose perspective when you're up in the stands, but I can assure you it is very thick grass that is out there. And Hootie is back to pass on 3rd down. Has to roll out of the pocket to his left, looks downfield, doesn't have anybody, but now lets it go anyway. Pass intended for Jacob Wagner. And about the best thing Hootie could have done with the football. He was trying to wait for Wagner to make a move and see what move he was going to make, and Jake decided to continue to go down the sideline, and so the pass goes over his head and incomplete.
And it just makes it a tighter and tighter window the further that receiver drifts to the sideline that time. But again, Hootie overthrew him, which is fine. It's going to set up a punting situation here for the Bearcats as Hootie gets ready to punt the ball away to Phillipsburg.
4th down and 8, 3:52 left to go first quarter. Hootie gets it away, angling toward the sideline, hits it about the 11-yard line, make it to 12, and goes out of bounds. And that's where Phillipsburg Osceola will take over 1st and 10 at their own 12. Be a part of Bearcat football broadcasts during the upcoming playoffs by making a small contribution to help defray our costs to the PIAA. Send a check to Greg Banks at P.O. Box 56, Huntingdon, PA, 16652. We'll acknowledge alums, groups, or organizations during each broadcast as the Bearcats begin their adventure through the postseason. There will be one more game at this field this season, and the Bearcats will draw a bye in the first round. Slogoski, once again, a quick handoff, trying the left side this time, and actually a good struggle by the ball carrier, Keegan Parks, as Parks ends up picking up, let's call it 1.
Yeah, give Parks 1 yard on that. Is,
2nd and 9.
Again, you're right, he slipped through. There was a bevy of Bearcat tacklers that were all around him, and he's able just to turn his shoulders and get back up and get a 1-yard pickup here for Phillipsburg.
2nd and 9 for the Mounties. 6-0 Bearcats lead with 3:10 left to go in the first quarter. Slogoski up at the line to take the snap that time, and that didn't work well either.
I think he fumbled the ball on that and then just had to dive on it. That's kind of what it looked like to me. So, and that's what I'm starting to wonder. Is there some sort of like moisture that's on the ground out here that the players are having trouble? Because that ball looked like it kind of hit his hands and just kind of slid out. So
it was a mist coming down.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that's not playing into this.
It certainly could be when the grass is as high as it is at this particular time. You got that mist out there. It's going to retain that moisture. Slogoski has to get rid of it. Once again, that post pattern over the middle intended for Brandon Anderson, and it falls incomplete. He had his arm out there and had a fingertip on it at least, but he was unable to reel it in, Brandon Anderson, and the pass incompletion will bring up a 4th and 9 and another 3 and out. Well, yeah, it is another 3 and out for Phillipsburg Osceola.
Just let him just a little bit there, Dave. But that pass pattern, that's there. It's been there.
Yeah, 2 times. One thing's for sure, in that case, Slogoski was really hurried to get that away, and maybe that was a factor in that one. Here comes the punt, angled over toward the sideline, hits it about the 42 of Phillipsburg Osceola, and basically will be marked down right around the 42-yard line. Bearcat ball, 1st and 10. So if you didn't like what happened last time, you get to try it again from the same point in the field.
That's exactly right. As you look at on the stat sheet here real quickly in the first quarter, Phillipsburg with -8 yards rushing and only 18 yards passing. So tough sledding for Phillipsburg. That's to be expected. This is a team that really is growing. It's a program that needs to grow, and it's growing through the years through the years coming up here. That they're going to get tougher.
ACC football with the Pitt Panthers coming up tomorrow on the airnetwork.net. Here goes Jonathan Price over the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Stiff arm. Is he into the end zone? No, they're going to mark him out at the half-yard line.
Wow, jet sweep for 41 and a half yards. That's a good play there by the Bearcats as Jonathan Price had lead blocker Ian Border taking him all the way down the sidelines there, not able to get it in. I thought he was going to get thrown in by the Phillipsburg defender there.
Yeah, had that look to it.
That's exactly right.
He ends up being marked out of bounds at the really the half-yard line. So it's 1st and goal for the Bearcats, trying to pick up their second score of the first quarter, leading 6-0. Hootie up at the line, hands off to Border, makes a dive for the end zone, no signal.
I'm not sure he got in. Yeah, I think.
Yep, there he is.
Okay, as I say, Matt Johnson came from his defensive end position, did a good job, but he did. He was able to go ahead and punch that in for the score, as Huntington will now get out to a 12-0 lead here with 2:06 to go.
And no doubt there will be a 2-point conversion attempt coming up for the Bearcats here to bring themselves back even with the traditional 7 points that folks have come to expect on touchdowns. Gio Scaccia missing the extra point on the first touchdown of the night. So, of course, it is Hootie and Border in the backfield. Snap, Wildcat, Border takes it into the end zone, gets the 2-point conversion, and the Bearcats have taken a 14-0 lead. And that one worked well for the Bearcats as they pull out the old Wildcat and end up scoring the 2-point conversion to make it 14-0, 2:06 left to go. I was talking about the Pitt Panthers coming up tomorrow, and they'll be hosting 20th ranked North Carolina. The Wolfpack will be at Heinz Field, and we'll have it for you here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Kickoff slated for noon, and there will be a rebroadcast of this game. Yes, you can tune in and listen to tonight's broadcast prior to Pitt Panther football here on the airnetwork.net.
Scores.
Go ahead.
I was going to say scores from around the area. Mount Union 13-7 over Bellwood in the first quarter. Forest Hills 12-0 over Penn Cambrian in the first quarter. Juniata Valley 8-0 over Moshannon Valley in the first quarter. Bellefonte 14, Central 0 in the first quarter. So Bellefonte out and running against the Central Scarlet Dragons. Huntington's next opponent next week.
One other score to report if you're interested. Bishop McCourt leading Johnstown. One of those battles between the parochial league, not league, there is no league for the parochial schools, but a parochial team versus a good old regular school. And the parochial team leads by a score of 7-0. First quarter in that action. Scotcha with the ball teed up at the 40 approaches the ball and gets more of a oomph into that one. It comes down at about the 12-yard line, out over the 15, the 20, 25, leaning toward the 30 and being brought down right near the 30-yard line that time with a return. Matt Johnson.
It's a nice 20-yard return for Johnson. Tackled by Andrew Finkel that time, but a nice 20-yard return for Johnson to give Phillipsburg the ball. First and 10 on their own 30.
Good starting field position for the Mounties. And we'll see if they can get anything going on their own offensively. The basic progress that they made on the field tonight have been due to penalties. Had some opportunities. We noted that one pass pattern that seems to be working well, that post pattern across the middle to Brandon Anderson. Anderson's had it on his fingertips, but not been able to get in. Handoff that time goes to Keegan Perks, that is. And Perks makes it out over the 30, falls forward. I think we'll statistically call that no gain.
No gain for Perks that time. Again, as Phillipsburg is really struggling to run the football, and I just think that they're going to have to go to the pass exclusively to try to open up the run, Dave, because they can't go anywhere.
It's second down and 10 for the Mounties as they continue to have trouble. It looks like they're definitely going to have to establish the passing game here in some way, shape, or form so that they can get some more progress on the run. And that pass is almost intercepted. Daniel Slugoski trying it over the right side, and there was Andrew Miller.
No, it was Landon Fisher, number 60, with the big arms throwing up there to be able to block that pass. Huntington has a lot of pass defense against this year. See it again coming from the linebacker position as Slugoski's not able to clear the backers and get that pass to be completed.
One of the back judges calls time. Clock stops. 1:02 left to go in the first quarter. Bearcats up by a 14-0 score, hosting Phillipsburg Osceola on senior night. And it looks like they're going to reset the clock to 1:20. And it has been done.
Another third down coming up for Phillipsburg. They are 1 for 4 on the night, hovering right around that percentage that Huntington has given up all year long. They are very stingy here on third down.
Daniel Slugoski, 5'10 senior, fumbles the snap and has to fall on it at the 25. And the Mounties, by the way, that was third down and 10. And he has to fall on it at the 15, so it's a 4th and 15, another 3 and out for the Mounties as they're just having trouble getting anything started. As I said, you have to at least complete a few passes to allow the opening up of the running game. But so far, nothing doing. And it's been either passes that were not caught or, in that case, bad snap there. Here's a punt, and it is keyed by Luke Smartwood, and it rolls dead at about the 36-yard line of the Bearcats as Jonathan Price lets it roll dead. And it'll be Bearcat football 1st and 10 from that point, with them leading by a score of 14-0 and 40 seconds left in the first quarter to do anything. By the way, join us for Monday Night Sports Talk, 7 to 8 p.m. Monday night. You can call in and be a part of the most active sports talk show in the region. Wow. Wonder who certified that. It's exclusively on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM, the home of the Huntingdon Bearcats. Coming up at halftime, by the way, Greg Banks with a rundown of upcoming activities in the area and a look into future programming here on the airnetwork.net. Hand off by Andrew Hootie, taken by Ian Border, and he rushes it out over the 40 to almost the 43-yard line. So one of the best gains that Ian has been able to rip off here tonight. Looks like the clock will probably run out on the first quarter. But, I got to say one thing. Chad was able to pick up on the fact that it seemed to be a lot of slipping going on for Border in the early going. And we'll see, maybe he'll have to change shoes at halftime. Here comes a little swing pass over to Jonathan Price right in front of us, and Price ends up taking a big hit that time from Josh Bryan of Phillipsburg, Osceola, but he does gain yardage as he picks up a couple out near the 45-yard line. It'll set up a third down, and let's call it 2 to go to pick up the first down. And they'll be doing it in a different direction because the first quarter is over. 1 in the books at Huntingdon War Vets Field, and the score, Bearcats 14, Phillipsburg Osceola nothing. Back with more after this on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon.
Catch the fresh fall savings now at the all-new Save-A-Lot in Huntingdon off of 4th Street in the Peebles Plaza. The all-new Save-A-Lot is a bright, clean, spacious store loaded with the freshest hand-cut meats, along with the freshest produce and groceries in the area. Check out their in-store specials. You'll always save more every day at the all-new Save-A-Lot store, right off of 4th Street at the entrance of the Peebles Plaza in Huntingdon.
Hi, I'm Andrew Finkel. You're listening to the Huntingdon Bearcats on the airnetwork.net.
Welcome back to Huntingdon War Vets Field. Dave Shannon, Chad States, Huntingdon Bearcats football. And
we're going to get a little bit of a ceremony happening out here as Jonathan Price, number 2, the senior, just became Huntington's all-time leading receiver in receptions, that becoming catch number 68 for his career, breaking Courtney Geddick's record previously that was held in 1998 with 67. He will also break, most likely, the receiving yardage record tonight, too. He needed 73 coming in. He's got 48 so far, so this is record 1 of 2. We'll only stop the game once tonight, but as you witness, Jonathan Price breaking a 20-year-old mark set by Courtney Geddick. Most receptions in a career now with 68.
Everybody likes to root for the little guy, and of course at 5'8", $145, Jonathan Price qualifies in that category. Kind of reminding you of Jose Altuve or maybe Connor Sheary with the Penguins. And Jonathan really doing a number this year and throughout his career playing here at Huntingdon High School. By the way, Clemson tied with Syracuse. Yeah, Clemson 7, Syracuse 7.
Wow.
That is in the first quarter. We're just about to start the second quarter after the presentation ceremony on the record-breaking Jonathan Price. And here we go on a third down and a couple. It's Hootie handing off the Border. He has the first down and more as he gets out over midfield, eventually dropped at about the 48-yard line. It is good for Bearcats first down.
And the last 2 runs have been more typical Ian Border, as he's been able to keep his feet and run and lower those shoulder pads and be able to get good yardage that time and get the first down for Huntington. But those last 2 runs have been more the typical Ian Border that we have seen all year long, Dave.
Keegan Soldis with the stop for the Mounties. So at the 48-yard line, a PO, it is Bearcat football, 1st and 10, leading the game 14-0, moving from right to left here in the second quarter. Wildcat snap to Ian Border. Border takes it down over the 47-yard line and is dropped at about the 46. Give him a gain of a couple. The chain gang guys are having an adventure over there in the far sideline. That's where there's only one set of chains here, as it is in every high school, and they're on the far side of the field. And it's been an adventure with those guys.
Sure has been.
11:20 left to go here in the second quarter. It's the kind of thing, Chad, where you're glad that they haven't needed the chains for a measurement. This time, Ian Border serving as quarterback, hands off to Drew Weglars, and Weglars gets down
on the carry
to the 40-yard line of Phillipsburg Osceola. Drew, I'll tell you what, he was called on to come into the game for Ian Border when he injured his ankle in a game here earlier, and I'll tell you what, he came in, and between he and Hootie just picked up the ball, and figuratively and literally, and continued to keep that ground game of the Bearcats rolling.
Quick feet. He's got real quick feet that hit that hole hard.
3rd down and a yard. And the snap goes to Border, and Border's going to carry. He'll be close to first down yardage. It depends. They may have to pull those chains in. I was saying it was a good thing they haven't had to use those guys yet, but they may have to this time around. That looks pretty
They've
close.
got a favorable spot more in the middle of the field than they do out
did.
here on the side. So if you look at that, he's got almost 3 yards on the carry, where it looks like the side judge was only giving him, or was getting him real close to where the first down marker was.
The chain, and the white hat says first down.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Sure did.
And now we had talked about that Syracuse score. Syracuse 14, Clemson 7. Late in the first quarter of that football game. Surprising move that college football ended up doing Friday night games, knowing how popular high school football is on Friday nights. Hootie in a jet sweep pattern, and it's a keep by Border, and he gets down over the 30-yard line, or maybe will be marked down right at the 30, but ripping off about 8 yards on that play to set up a 2nd down and 2. So head coach Mike Hootie and the offense dialing up something a little bit different here, as after the Bearcats got their last first down, it's been snapped directly to Border. Hootie is out there in the field, but it's the Wildcat kind of thing that's going on. Worked really well in the extra point there.
Yes, it did. Sure did.
So I guess Mike Hootie's going to see if this is something he can call. And looks like it's going to be a more traditional play this time around, and it's going to be another jet sweep handoff. Jacob Warner and Wagner, that is. Wagner gets down over the 20 and will be dragged out of bounds at the 15-yard line, picking up another Bearcat first down.
So we're just seeing all kinds of things being pulled out here for Huntington, as they are just utilizing people all over the field. That time Wagner becomes the 4th ball carrier for the Bearcats as he picks up 15. With that last run, Ian Border broke 1,000 yards for the year. Prior to that, with that pass that was completed to Price, I failed to mention that Andrew Hootie reached 1,000 yards passing. That's the first time that has happened for the Bearcats since 2005, when Bucky Culbertson and Kyle Kuiper accomplished the feat.
Snap to Hootie. Backs up. Little play action as he faked the pass and ended up throwing it toward the end zone. Pass intended that time for Alex Mikett, and it ends up being intercepted by Phillipsburg Osceola, as that one was picked off by T.J. Thompson.
Yeah, and sometimes young quarterbacks make mistakes. And that time we saw the tight end come out and go right up the middle, and Andrew never looked off of him. I think he thought with Alex's big frame that Alex would be able to turn over if he floated that ball up and make the reception in the end zone, but he was not, as T.J. Thompson was able to reach up and take that away from Alex in the end zone. But Andrew will learn as he goes through time here that you got to look off those situations, and sometimes your primary target isn't the one you need to stick with. It's the second or third guys that you need to look at.
Pump action fake really didn't get any distance for Micah in the pattern that he was running. Phillipsburg did not bite on that. And so it ends up being an interception. Daniel Slogoski, someone new running the football, and now almost dropping it was Brock Shady, but he was able to get a handle on it eventually and get out over the 20-yard line and brought down at about the 24. So give him a gain of 4 and a 2nd down and 6.
Hey, he kind of came out of that free. I mean, when you looked at him, he was kind of stumbling when he came out, but he was out of there when there was nobody around him. So nice run that time by Shady.
The problem was he still didn't have good possession of the football. He had to kind of hesitate till he got full control of it. Slogoski flushed out of the pocket, rolling over to the near sideline and wrapped out of bounds hard at about the 27-yard line.
And Drew Weglars and Andrew Finkel giving pursuit for Finkel coming up and just pushing him hard out of bounds that time and making him think, do I really want to run to this side?
Yeah, you can have some second thoughts in that case. It's still a gain for Phillipsburg Osceola as they get out to about the 27 to set up a 3rd down and 3. 8:27 left to go, second quarter. Bearcats lead the game by a score of 14-0. No huddle this time. Snap. Soligoski's pass is complete for a 1st down and more. Getting away over the 50, the 40, the 30, the 20, 15, 10, 5, and just short of the goal line is T.J. Thompson.
Good. That's a great run from T.J. Thompson. He was able to slip past the defensive backs and then just give a quick stiff arm and race all the way down the field to the 1-yard line. So big pickup, big 1st down for the Mounties.
And showing the speed of the defense, Ryan Quarry is able to catch up with him and bring him down short of the goal line. But it is 1st and goal for the Mounties on a big play on 3rd down and 3. Slogoski. Once again in the backfield with him, it's Brock Shady. Shady, a bit bigger young man in the backfield. Faking the handoff and keeping is Slogoski, and he's brought down short of the goal line.
Yeah, he was. That's because Andrew Finkel and it looks like Lance Brown coming in and being able to make the stop. But Finkel flew in from his strong safety position and made a diving tackle up around the shoulder pads to prevent Slogoski from getting in.
And the ball is marked back. It's
looks
a
like
loss on the play as it's at about the 2-yard line. 2nd down and goal from that point. Slogoski with a quick pass, and it's complete for a touchdown for the Mounties.
I'll look and see who caught that. It's hard to see numbers sometimes, folks.
I think it may be Josh Bryan.
Complete to Bryan.
Yep, sure is. Good call, Dave. Number 2, Josh Bryan with his first reception of the evening.
So Bryan makes an out route, comes across the goal line basically, back toward the middle of the field, and is hit with a nice pass from Slogoski, who's been under a lot of pressure, but had some poise there to make it a 14-6 Bearcat lead, and they're going for 2. Slogoski rolling to his right, looks to the corner of the end zone, puts it up, and the pass is incomplete.
And wow, did he have a guy, T.J. Thompson, looks like in the middle of the field, wide open. But once again, young quarterbacks will sometimes make those mistakes. I'm sure the play was to go to the outside, but he had T.J. Thompson wide open right in front of the goalpost and did not see him.
Well, Slogoski, talk about somebody channeling their inner Trace McSorley, just did the home run swing as he headed over to the far sideline, and the fans in attendance from Phillipsburg Osceola on the far side of the field. 14-6 with the 2-point conversion. Turning out to be no good in this case for PO, and the Bearcats will have the football back. By the way, be a part of Bearcat football broadcast during the upcoming playoffs by making a small contribution to help defray the cost of the PIAA, as they have some pretty big fees to continue to be able to bring you these games. Of course, the games we're doing at the high school fields in the regular season, we don't have any fees involved. So it's one of those things where we could use your help. And if you want to do that, you can send a check to Greg Banks at P.O. Box 56, Huntingdon, PA 16652, and we'll acknowledge alums, groups, or organizations during each broadcast for the donations that we get to cover this team into the playoffs. Tell you what, big plays can make a difference in a football game, and just some great running that time. You talk about the old yak yards.
Yep.
T.J. Thompson rolled him up there.
73-yard pass completion that set up that touchdown to Brian. So, as I had said, this is an improving Phillipsburg team year after year as this program tries to find itself and tries to rebuild.
Here's a kickoff. It's going to almost went out of bounds, picked up by Jacob Wagner, and Wagner's only going to get out to about the 35-yard line. I think Jake wanted to let that go out of bounds, but it just started to die there right at the sideline.
Yeah, the ball kind of forced him to pick it up as it didn't go where he thought it was going to, and only a 4-yard pickup that time on a kickoff return. But something that Jake was looking to do was say, hey, is this ball going to go out of bounds and try and get the penalty and have him re-kick it? But didn't happen, so Huntingdon will set up shop 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line.
Juniata Valley leading Moshannon Valley 16-0. That's after 1 quarter, as we have some scores coming in tonight. Hootie comes up under center this time. Gets the snap, turns, hands off to Border, over the left side, out to the 40, the 45. He's going to have enough for a first down. He's hit out of bounds. No flag?
Unbelievable. That was a late push.
He was well out of bounds when he was shoved to the ground. Right on the, among other things, that takes a lot of you-know-what when you're at the other team's sideline to knock down one of their players like that out of bounds.
Absolutely. 11-yard pickup that time by Border as we see him finding his feet and running like the Ian of old that we have seen, Dave.
Whatever problem he was having early on, I didn't keep an eye on him. You know, he does play defense too, so I don't know that they had a chance to change anything as far as his cleats go. Here's a handoff to Border. Border over the right side, this time out over the 45, and he was just a tackle away from getting into a foot race with Nick Keith of Phillipsburg Osceola, but he was brought down short of midfield, but good enough for another Bearcat first down.
Yeah, and he's running hard now. Now you're starting, like I said, you're starting to see the Ian of old, low in the shoulder pads. He was, his head was up. You could see him kind of scanning the field, looking to see where he needed to plant his foot and try to make that cut. So good job that time by Border. Now up 13 carries, 67 yards on the evening.
Just under 7 minutes left to go on senior night here at Huntingdon Moorvets Field. Another handoff, this time straight up the middle, and Border not as successful that time. He's brought down in Phillipsburg Osceola territory after a gain of 2 and a second and 8 now.
For the Bearcats. Tackled by
so that time, I think we've tried every possible combination, right side of the line, left side of the line, and one up the middle, and I think that we're going to be trying to run off tackle for the rest of the night.
Yep, Huntington setting up in this I formation now for the Bearcats. It's getting away from the spread.
And Hootie up under center. Nice block. Border lowers his shoulder, gets over the 45 down to about the 44-yard line. And with that I formation, an extra blocker in the game for Ian Border to start to chew up some yardage.
Yeah, and you're starting to see the Huntington ground game come together with this new formation. It's kind of get away from the spread and give Ian the ability to be able to have an extra blocker in front of him. And you're seeing he's picking up good chunks of yards. His last 4 carries, he's averaged. He's up over 30 yards on his last 4 carries.
3rd down and 3. Need to get to the 41-yard line from the 44 of the Mounties. And timeout is called by the Bearcats with 5:40 left to go. In the first half, it is Bearcats 14 and Phillipsburg Osceola 6. And we want to welcome the Save-A-Lot store to our broadcast. Yeah, when you need some groceries, head to Save-A-Lot. They're off of 4th Street in the People's Plaza. And we welcome them aboard on tonight's broadcast of Huntingdon Bearcat football, exclusively on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM. In Huntingdon. I understand that they have some pretty outstanding cuts of meat there, as I've been told by Greg Banks. Greg Banks was in there checking out the fresh meat selection at the Save-A-Lot.
I'm hoping he was looking at more than that in there too. So we'll hope. But Greg, let us know how those steaks look, baby. Let us know.
We would also like to congratulate.
I think there has been a
Bearcat trivia winner.
That the comment was misconstrued, I think, by Mr. States.
Could have been.
You may have been trying to put him in the Jimmy Ty category. Here's a quick handoff to Ian Border as he turns, and he will be short of first down yardage by about a half a yard, if I'm to believe the chains on the other side.
I think you're right, and Phillipsburg's getting good penetration against the Huntingdon offensive line as they were in on the feet that time of Border real quick.
Yeah, and this may be, you may have to go back to that I formation again and continue to have a blocker out there for him, because that's where the success has come from. Not only just short of a first down, fourth down and a whole yard to go as we get down near the 5-minute mark.
Right on cue, I formation for Huntingdon.
Here's the handoff to Border. Has a first down and more over the 40, 35, 30, 25, cuts back and is taken down at about the 18-yard line. But as Chad said, back to the way the game started for Ian Rushing, he has just been picking it up each time he's handed the football. And once again, the old I formation has certainly made a change. Andrew Finkel blocking out of that I formation for him. And he's suddenly starting to pick up those big chunks of yardage that we've gotten used to.
Needed one, got 26. That puts him over 100 yards for the night on 17 carries.
That's some work. As a matter of fact, that's a whole game's work for some. Fakes the handoff to Border, throws out on the right side. The pass is complete as he gets it out to Alex Mikett. Mikett has not been a frequent receiver of Andrew Hootie passes, but obviously tonight's game plan is featuring Alex Mikett quite frequently.
Yeah, and that's the first pass completion to a tight end all year long for Huntingdon.
And just as we compliment Alex, he comes out of the football game. He did pick up 5 on the pass completion. 2nd and 5, Bearcat football at the 14-yard line of Phillipsburg, Osceola. Bearcats up 14-6. Hootie in the shotgun. Little flare pass over for Jacob Wagner. Makes the catch, goes down over the 10, and finally brought down at about the 8-yard line, and he should have another Bearcat first down, as it'll be 1st and goal for the Bearcats. Wait. They're still moving and they will begrudgingly keep him a half yard short of the first down stick. We had seen the side judge go in, and it looked like where he was going to place the ball, there was no question that it was a first down, but on second glance, it got moved back a little bit. And there's a handoff to Ian Border. He gets down to the 5-yard line, needed a half yard, picked up 4. And it'll be a 1st and goal for the Bearcats at the Mountie's 5-yard line.
And it's a nice asset to have him in the backfield, as he's almost a guarantee to be able to get a short yardage first down in that situation, Dave. But again, we're seeing Huntingdon line up in this I formation, and it's successful for them tonight, as Border now 107 yards on 18 carries.
Well, one thing, if you're going to proceed any distance through the playoffs, you got to let those teams know that you're not just that one-dimension shotgun kind of team. High snap. Hootie's lucky to get control of that and end up being brought down at about the 10-yard line. The high snap popped up in the air, and fortunately, Andrew was able to get that under control. And Brandon Anderson in there getting credit for the sack, as it'll end up being based off the high snap.
Just kind of floated up near his fingertips, and then he just could never get a good handle on it, and loss of 5 for Huntingdon.
Not been a lot of problems with the football, so it's not really that wet out there, even though we had that mist. And here goes Ian Border into the end zone. He was bumped a couple of times, but it takes more than a bump to bring Ian Border down, and he goes in to the P.O. Mountie's end zone to make it a 20-6 game.
And once again, from the I formation is where he's running, and lots of success for the Bearcat offense doing that this evening. So good job by the offensive coordinator, Dan Kraft, to notice something is working and keeping with it throughout this whole second quarter.
By the way, Greg Banks has let us know about the Save-A-Lot, that not only do they have a fine selection of fresh meats, the produce is pretty fresh too, according to Greg. Point after attempt by Gio Scotcha. It was tipped at the line, according to the white hat, but it still goes through, and it makes it Bearcats 21 and Phillipsburg Osceola 6. Another nice drive for the Bearcats and welcoming the I formation to their offense here tonight. Well, we got that big ACC going on, game that is going on with Syracuse. Last report we had leading in that one over Clemson 14-7. More ACC stuff. I've got my, ACC. 20th ranked Wolfpack of North Carolina head to Heinz Field for a noon broadcast here on the airnetwork.net. And preceding the broadcast of Pitt football, you'll be able to hear a rebroadcast of tonight's game between the Mounties and the Bearcats.
A couple other scores, Dave. Mount Union 20-14 over Bellwood Annis. Juniata Valley 20-6 over Moshannon Valley. Bellefonte continues to lead Central in the second quarter 14-7. Forest Hills over Penn Cambria 19-0. Those are all second quarter scores.
2:43 to halftime here. 21-6 Bearcats with the lead. Gio Scaccia ready to kick off to the Mounties. Josh Bryan deep along with TJ Thompson.
And Phillipsburg wants to get in the game. They're going to have to score on this drive, Dave. Huntington has not allowed a point in the third quarter all season long.
Line drive this time. It hits at the 17 and is scooped up at about the 12, out over the 20, 25, 30, and brought down at the 35-yard line. Check to see who pops up there as the returner, I think, as Josh Bryan.
Yeah, and Ryan Corey in on that tackle. He's an active linebacker. He's active on special teams. Ryan Corey Jr., he'll be back next year, leading tackler for the Bearcats so far this season, but and having quite the season for Huntington, leading this Bearcat defensive attack.
Nice 23-yard return that time by Bryan. Sets up the Phillipsburg Osceola Mounties in decent field position at their own 35-yard line to start. Daniel Slogoski in the shotgun, standing at his 30. Hands the ball off out over the 35 and brought down shortly after arriving at the 37-yard line. It'll be a gain of 2 and a second down and 8.
Again, running room is just not there for Phillipsburg, Dave. That's going to give Shady 6 yards on the night, but Phillipsburg is looking at -7 total yards on the night rushing.
Not a good thing.
Not a good thing.
They've not been able to be excessively successful with the pass. You could argue that because they had a 73-yard gain on one, but this time Slogoski flushed out of the pocket and sacked, as bringing him down was Landon Fisher with the sack, and a timeout is called by by the Bearcats. Timeout Bearcats, their second timeout taken here in the first half, leaving them with 1 minute 55 left to go. And I think that was the inspiration for that timeout being called, trying to save enough time to maybe get another score here before they head into halftime, and then would get the football coming out in the second half.
All makes sense. The more points you can score and the quicker you can do it. And that's exactly what they're looking to do, and is getting that timeout, trying to get possession back. Huntington has a quick strike offense. We know they can go deep, and we know they can do it fast. We've seen that happen multiple times this year. Runs of 80 yards, pass plays of 80 yards. So Huntington has that ability with that quick strike offense with these playmakers that they have. Price, Wagner, Border, Andrew Hootie at the quarterback position. So good job that time by the Bearcat staff.
Once again, the Huntingdon Bearcats here on the airnetwork.net, we're going to be following them through the playoffs. We're going to need your help because the PIAA has these fees we have to pay in order to bring you those games throughout the playoffs. And if you'd like to be a part of Bearcat football broadcast, send a check to Greg Banks at P.O. Box 56 in Huntingdon, 16652. We'll acknowledge alums, groups, or organizations during each broadcast. Big third down for the Bearcat defense here to try to get the ball back with a reasonable amount of time on the clock. Daniel Slogoski is in the shotgun on a 3rd and 11. And he has trouble with the snap and is going to go down at the 26-yard line. Slogoski with trouble, and was that Peck?
That was Zach Peck.
Yeah,
yep.
Zach Peck ends up with a sack in the backfield. And Bearcats will use their final timeout.
By the Bearcats.
And well done. Obviously, Coach Hootie remembering our pregame chat about the excellent use of timeouts at that Bald Eagle game to get a score at the end of the first half. And it looks like this team may be able to do it again. Now, they're not left with any timeouts, but as Chad said, they do have a good 2-minute offense, a quick strike, a lot of ground kind of offense. And with that sack back at about between the 27 and 28 yard line, they should get the ball in pretty decent field position.
Well, not just that, but you've got to punt the ball to Jonathan Price, who's already returned a punt for a touchdown, is averaging 13.1 yards per punt return. So they might not even need to wait for the offense. They can get it done here on special teams, Dave.
So let's see what happens. I'm sure they're going to try to keep the ball away from Jonathan as he heads out there, just making his way over the 50 and now set up at about the 40-yard line of the Bearcats awaiting the punt. That will come from Luke Smartwood.
Phillipsburg with minus 19 yards rushing.
Wow.
93 through the air, but 73 of that coming on one pass play. So really the Bearcat defense just totally shutting down Phillipsburg tonight.
Can't get a pass complete and having a lot of trouble rushing the football. Smartwood gets it away. It's going to come up short and hit at the 45-yard line, bounce sideways right there and go out of bounds at the 43, let's call it.
You know, when it's not your night, it's not your night, as that punt went out of bounds and hit their ball boy on the head over there on the sideline. So it's just not your night, Phillipsburg, when that stuff's happening.
First and 10, Bearcat football at Phillipsburg's 43-yard line. By the way, I want to let everybody know, maybe you're thinking about a snack here at halftime. All-American Pizza and Subs will be donating $1 for every pizza sold this month to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. Once again, $1 for every pizza sold this month headed to Breast Cancer Research. Thank you, All-American Pizza. Handoff to Border. Border trying the right tackle side, gets down over the 40, but they're going to mark him down with his knee at the 40-yard line, so it'll be gain of 2 and a second down and 8 for the Bearcats as the clock rolls, 1:26 left to go. I noticed Border also has a play, one of those wristbands that has plays on it, as well as Andrew Hootie. Hootie with a pass to the near sideline, complete to Price. Right at the sideline, stepped out at the 16-yard line.
Coverage on the play.
But going to the near side of the field, which was the wide side of the field, that's like giving Jonathan Price a 10-acre field.
Yeah, it sure is. 23-yard pitch and catch that time from Hootie and Price, and we've seen that time and time again.
So the Bearcats trying to set this up and get points right before halftime and take even more momentum going into the half. 1:09 left to go in the half and a 21-6 Bearcat lead as the Bearcats try to push it in here on senior night at Huntingdon Moorvets Field, last regular season home game here. Here's a handoff to Border. Border gets down to the line of scrimmage and probably not any further. No gain in the play in a 2nd and 10.
Oh, a good job that time by the Phillipsburg defense coming up and making the tackle and a quick stop on Border. Again, we've seen them do that from this formation that Huntington's lining up out here on the spread.
I also notice Wagner has a play wrist also. Pass is complete over on the far side to Jarris Warner. Warner gets down to the 10-yard line, and it's going to be a 3rd down and about 3 to pick up a 1st down. Bearcats quickly up there. Hootie in the shotgun. Quick pass over in the near side. Price has it. He should go in. 5. Dives for the pylon, and he's in.
Touchdown.
Josh Hubler tried to get him before he went into the end zone, but what a dive.
Yeah,
the kid is such an athlete. It's amazing.
Yeah, he absolutely is. And with that catch, he just breaks the yardage record. So it just now went down as well. And I'll get that total here as soon as I send the PA guy a little bit of a note, because that gives him 4 catches for 81 yards on that 10-yard touchdown. And he only needed 73 coming in. So
Scotch in to attempt the point after. 27-6 Bearcat lead, 22 seconds left to go. Bad snap, but Warner gets it under control, puts it down. The kick is up. It's a side-to-side spinner over the goalpost, but they don't judge extra points on the beauty of the kick. It's whether it goes between the uprights, and that one did to make it a Bearcat 28-6 lead and heading into halftime with serious momentum here against Phillipsburg Osceola. The Mounties had to have a little bit of hope after that big pass completion play that maybe they could do something here tonight, but since the amount of passes that have worked for this team outside of that one have not exactly been plentiful, they're just having a tough time getting everything on track. You can't open up the run unless you open up the rest of the field with the passes as well. By the way, coming up at halftime, Greg Banks will be yammering for about 10 minutes. He has a rundown of the upcoming activities in the area and a look into future programming here on the airnetwork.net. And Greg, very proud to be a part of Huntingdon. The Air Network's been around for a while. Greg has been in the area now for a while, back home, and has been doing a lot to bring you Huntingdon High School sports here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. And with growth, you never know what could be next. You'll want to be tuned. Greg will let you know at halftime. Scotcha with a worm burner kickoff that rolls past one of the up guys who was down on his hands and knees. That was Kenny Smith. Kenny slowed down about at the same pace of the football. He went down to his knees to try to gather that in, and it was like the grass slowed him down too.
Yeah, absolutely. No time off of the clock. So, Huntington maybe was trying to see if they could just get that to hit a Phillipsburg, up guy and see if they could get another possession out of this, Dave.
I'll tell you what, with a little better luck, it could have happened because of the way that ball just skittered right to a stop. And now a confab between the umpire and the white hat. And not sure exactly what he was pointing at there, but something said it's a sideline. I guess they're not happy with the way the sideline is close to the... Okay, they're looking for a clock reset too.
Give you a quick rundown here on what Huntington's looking at. Hootie, 7 of 9, 99 yards, 1 touchdown and that 1 interception, 4 completions going to Price, 4 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown. And Ian Border leading on the ground, 2 touchdowns, but 21 carries and 119 yards. So Huntington getting it done offensively here against Phillipsburg.
First down pass play. Slagoski, in the hands of his intended receiver. I feel bad for Dan tonight. That wasn't Thompson. That was Brandon Anderson here in the near side. And he has put the ball in the hands of his receivers several times tonight, and they just haven't been able to bring it in.
He's done a good job. And unfortunately, when you're playing a team that is 7-0, you can't make these types of mistakes. And Phillipsburg just continues to shoot themselves in the foot.
2nd and 10. Slagoski in the shotgun. Handoff to a new running back out there for... No, I'm sorry. He actually went back to Brock Shady as Shady gets over the 30 and is knocked out of bounds at about the 33. It's going to be a gain of 3 and a 3rd down and 7 as the clock goes down to 8 seconds left to go in the first half. A 28-6 Bearcat lead.
Again, as we had mentioned, Huntington deferred the first half, the opening kickoff, so they will get the ball back here to begin the second half.
So now 3rd down and 7. Once again in the shotgun, Daniel Slagoski. Slagoski is going to pass, but now he gets flushed out of the pocket, lets it go right before he gets up to the line of scrimmage, completes one right in the middle of the field to Josh Bryan, and that's good for a first down and good enough to bring the first half to a conclusion. That's the end of the first half here at Huntingdon Moorvets Field with the score Bearcats 28 and Phillipsburg Osceola 6. We'll be back, and we're going to hear from Greg Banks. Chad will do some ciphering over here. By the way, as we head to halftime, another score, Juniata Valley 22, Mo Valley 6. That game at halftime as well. Greg Banks coming up next, and then we'll be back to talk to you. Wait a minute. Maybe the first half is not over. Well, as we have a scoreboard malfunction here. The horn has been going off ever since the clock hit zeros, and we don't have the end of the first half. They have completely shut down the scoreboard at this point. A timeout called by Phillipsburg Osceola. The White Hat just signaled that there's going to be 4 seconds on the clock. And so they're going to be able to run one more play after that first down. Ball sitting just above the 41-yard line. And there's an anxious group of Bearcat offensive members with one foot in the locker room and the other one on a banana peel. They're all gathered up here at about the 25, ready to charge off the field after this last play for
I think what the receivers were, the officials were saying was that they stopped the clock on the first down, so there's like 1 second left here. But really, it looks like Phillipsburg's going to have to take a shot at the end zone, and I'm not sure that Slogoski's arm, while he's good, accurate, short-range passer, I'm not sure that his arm is quite strong enough to reach that far. So we'll see what Phillipsburg tries to do here, maybe a little trickeration.
Scoreboard continues to try to reboot here, and to no avail. Oh, my. Quickly up and away from the line, Josh Hubler, that is, of Phillipsburg Osceola. And it's going to be a false start against PO. So they're going to get to attempt some trickeration 5 yards back further into their territory. Ball set down at the 36.
Legal procedure against the Mounties.
First and 15 now. Slogoski. Last play of the first half. Wait, there is a flag out there. Slogoski makes a beeline toward the PO sideline, and he's brought down short of the sideline, short of gaining any yardage.
It's offensive.
As he's brought down by Ryan Corey. And it's an offensive penalty, another false start, and that's going to bring the first half to a conclusion.
Yep.
We'll see if they're able to get the scoreboard fixed for the second half, but for the time being, we head to halftime with the score. Yes, it did not change. It is the Bearcats 28 and Phillipsburg Osceola 6. Greg Banks is up next here on the airnetwork.net. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, DC Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence. All-American Pizza and Subs in downtown Huntingdon at 612 Washington Street is the home of the new Bearcat Sub. Enjoy mozzarella cheese with bacon, crispy chicken, sour cream and chive fries, and our top-selling wing flavor, Mactown Gold, all wrapped on a fresh homemade roll. Try the Bearcat plus our many other great pizzas and subs at All-American Pizza and Subs. Don't forget their new Pepsi flavor shots, too. All-American Pizza and Subs will donate $1 for every pizza sold during October, with proceeds going toward breast cancer research. Call 643-0222 for delivery. Open till 9, closed Mondays.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community, and they've got loads of activities in October. The Moose proudly presents the Huntingdon Halloween Parade on Monday, October 23rd in downtown Huntingdon. Come on down with the entire family and enjoy the evening. Also in October, you can enjoy our Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. Then on Saturday, October 14th, it's Reboot from 8 to 11 p.m. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223. So join us today. Pennswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Pennswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Pennswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Pennswood.net Classifieds has it. Pennswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
This is Ian Border. You're listening to Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net.
Hi, it's Greg Banks of the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM. It's halftime of the Huntingdon Phillipsburg Osceola game. On senior night, Dave Shannon and Chad States have more action for you just ahead. So stick around because we'll bring you more Bearcat action in just a few moments. Meanwhile, I wanted to update you on some upcoming things here around the studios and around town, if you will. Don't forget, on Monday, October 23rd, it's the Halloween parade in downtown Huntingdon, getting underway around 7 o'clock. And, of course, you'll see all kinds of floats and all local groups. And if you love candy and you're a kid, we'll stop on down. I know for a fact the Huntingdon County Drop-In Center will be in the parade this year. There'll be one of many groups handing out candy. So, hey, look forward to that. That is a Monday, October 23rd, 7 o'clock live in downtown Huntingdon. I might add that for the first time, we'll have a chance to bring you all the festivities from the downtown parade live on the Air Network and 94.1 FM as our good friend Jeff Speck covers the festivities of the Huntingdon Halloween Parade. And one of the great sponsors, by the way, is our friends from the Huntingdon Moose Family 223, the lodge on Allegheny Street. Just one of the prime sponsors, the upcoming Halloween Parade. Jeff Speck will have all the action for you and all the festivities live here on the Air Network coming up on Monday, October 23rd, live from downtown and the Halloween Parade. Speaking of which, that same week on Wednesday night, which is October 25th, is the official night for Trick or Treat in Huntingdon Borough. So please leave your porch lights on. If you're out driving around, be very careful between, let's say, maybe 5 until 8 or 9 o'clock in the evening as the little ghosts and goblins will be about in downtown Huntingdon. Of course, looking for candy throughout the borough, as that is the official Trick or Treat night in Huntingdon this year. That's Wednesday, October 25th. Now, this weekend, we're going to be kind of busy here at the Air Network as well. If you've been following us throughout college football season, you know that we carry Panthers football. Well, the Panthers are now 2-4 on this season, and coming up on Saturday, October 14th, tomorrow, North Carolina with their record of 5-1 coming into Heinz Field to take on the Panthers, who have been having some problems, obviously, throughout this season. But we wish them well tomorrow as they take on North Carolina, 5-1 on the season, with the Pitt Panthers 2-4 on this season. Airtime should be about noon, by the way, for kickoff after we rebroadcast the Huntingdon-Phillipsburg game, which will start at about 9 a.m. Saturday morning, tomorrow morning. So you'll want to check that out. Meanwhile, on our schedule for the Bearcat football season, only 2 games left after tonight. That is, those are the 2 road games, matter of fact, the important road games. First, next Friday, we'll be over at Central Martinsburg facing the Central Scarlet Dragons, who have had some problems from time to time this season, but nonetheless, they always play the Bearcats tough. So we'll face the Scarlet Dragons of Central coming up next Friday night. Airtime again, 6:45, kickoff at 7 with Dave Shannon and Chad States, just as they are tonight on the airnetwork.net. And then the final game of the regular season will be 2 weeks from tonight as the Bearcats travel to Warren, Pennsylvania, and that will be a road trip. So obviously, if you can't make it, you can tune in here to the Air Network and 94.1 FM. Hey, Warren, Pennsylvania, by the way, is the home of many of you might remember Steve Norris. Steve Norris, an alum from Huntingdon, class of 70, I believe, great athlete, was a school teacher. In addition to that, athletic director up in the Warren area, an official. Matter of fact, he'll be officiating that Friday night's game, I believe, and he's a bodybuilder to boot. So, yeah, Skinny Norris, Steve Norris, that's what they used to call him, Skinny, and Warren, Pennsylvania. We'll make that road trip in 2 weeks, so check that out. So there are loads of things coming up here on the airnetwork.net, and I don't want to forget, on weekends now, especially on Sundays, we have the religious services, contemporary music, till about 10 o'clock, and then church service with Huntingdon Presbyterian Church at 10 a.m., followed by Altoona Bible Church live at 11 a.m. on Sundays. So if you're not really getting, that spirituality and you can't make it to church, you can always tune in here and get it live on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM. Just some other things that we do in the community to, of course, bring you loads of things and activities, speaking of which I mentioned will be at the Halloween parade, and we have other events that will be coming up as well. Now, having said that, we got a new sponsor tonight, and I'm not sure they are only on for tonight, but they may be on throughout the playoff. Want to welcome Save-A-Lot. Save-A-Lot store, that's the new store, by the way, right off of 4th Street at the Peebles Plaza entrance. I don't know if you've been to that store yet, but if you haven't been, you got to check it out. They have hand-cut meats, fresh, have, of course, a really bright, spacious store with loads of great groceries at great prices and the freshest produce in town. And I've been there several times, so I can attest to it. And the fact of the matter is, those folks are jumping on Bearcat football because they know a winner, because they are a winner. So welcome to Save-A-Lot, of course, at the 4th Street entrance of Peebles Plaza. Just check it out. Great parking as well. And we wish them the best of luck. Meanwhile, I want to shout out to the other Bearcat broadcast boosters tonight. As we mentioned, Huntingdon Moose Family 223. They're on Allegheny Street. If you're not a member yet, you may want to check out what's going on, like tomorrow night, which is, what is that, the 14th? Well, they've got Reboot, and they'll be on stage at 8 o'clock. So just one of the many social events that they have at the Moose Lodge 223. Also want to say thank you to D.C. Goodman and Sons and the Goodman family for helping us get these broadcasts on the air. Without them, we just couldn't do Bearcat football. Thank you to Mike Simone and Simone Chiropractic and Weight Loss. They're on Washington Street, right across from All American Pizza, another one of the broadcast boosters, of course, with the great subs, pizzas, you name it. Hey, check out that Bearcat sub. It's fantastic. And I want to thank Austin Smith, Heating and Plumbing of Huntingdon. Austin Smith came through for us during the winter sports season, also for baseball, and now Huntingdon Bearcat football. Now, coming soon, Penswoods.net, of course, they join us every week, will have a brand new name. They'll be rebranding their name, new website. We're going to talk with Chris Snyder of Penswoods.net and find out what that's all about in weeks to come. But Dave Shannon and I will be meeting with him probably next week. So we'll tell you more about what's happening with Penswoods.net, the home of free classified ads. So we're real excited about being partnered up with a lot of people from the community. If you're a sponsor out there and you can help us get through the playoff seasons coming up very shortly, and we may go very deep the next few weeks, well, get in touch with us. If you'd like to even send us a donation or help us support our cause, it could be $5, maybe $10, $15. Anything helps so we can pay the PIAA as we do these games. Send your check to Greg Banks at the Air Network, P.O. Box 56, Huntingdon, PA 16652. Again, you can send that to the Air Network, P.O. Box 56, Huntingdon, PA 16652. I pay all the bills, so you can make out the check to me, Greg Banks, and I'll make sure that we pay the PIAA, our announcers, our network team, and everybody that has to be paid as we do every week. And it's a lot of fun. Right now, we're not broke. That's a cool thing, but we can always use extra help. So if you're an alum, just tell us what class you're from. You can put that in the memo, and we'll give you a shout out. Nonetheless, we're getting a lot of support, and we hope that the support continues, not just for Bearcat football, but we're heading into the winter sports as we put together that schedule of boys and girls basketball games, probably starting late December, early January. And, man, I got to tell you, I'm excited for another fantastic season for Bearcat wrestling season. And Coach Mike and his charge, the Matt Cats from Huntingdon, because they always do well, especially tournament time, and as a team as well. So looking forward to basketball, also wrestling. Then in the spring, it's softball and baseball. And it looks like George Zanuck could have yet another great baseball team as the Bearcats look forward to the upcoming baseball season. I know it's early yet, but I got to tell you, these guys are working out year-round, getting ready, of course, for that great season. So tonight, a tip of the cap to the seniors, whether you're a senior in the band, maybe you're on the lacrosse team, maybe you're on the field hockey team, maybe you're on the soccer team or the football team. Well, we tip our cap to you and salute you for doing fantastic your senior season. Chances are you're a letterman, and perhaps you've been involved in the program since you're a wee tyke. And there, I guess we got to tip our cap to the Huntingdon Community Center and all those great parents out there that get their kids to practice on time. We salute you as well. So it's senior night, and as things go, well, the Bearcats ain't looking bad tonight. and they're looking for an undefeated season. Although I didn't say that, and we won't jinx it. But we'll throw it back to Dave Shannon and Chad States coming up with more Bearcat Mounties action on this Friday night football night on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM. Go Cats! Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of ensured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon. Pennswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Pennswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Pennswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Pennswood.net Classifieds has it. Pennswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
Catch the fresh fall savings now at the all-new Save-A-Lot in Huntingdon off of 4th Street in the Peebles Plaza. The all-new Save-A-Lot is a bright, clean, spacious store loaded with the freshest hand-cut meats, along with the freshest produce and groceries in the area. Check out their in-store specials. You'll always save more every day at the all-new Save-A-Lot store, right off of 4th Street at the entrance of the Peebles Plaza in Huntingdon.
The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community, and they've got loads of activities in October. The Moose proudly presents the Huntingdon Halloween Parade on Monday, October 23rd in downtown Huntingdon. Come on down with the entire family and enjoy the evening. Also in October, you can enjoy our Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. Then on Saturday, October 14th, it's Reboot from 8 to 11 p.m. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223. So join us today.
Hi, I'm Drew Weglars, and you're listening to the Huntingdon Bearcats on airnetwork.net.
And we're back at Huntingdon War Vets Field, where the whole scoreboard is having a hot chip. So they've shut it down at halftime. We can't tell you how much time is exactly left, but we can tell you because of the senior night ceremonies that were conducted before the game. Normally what they do at the high school games nowadays is they have one of the bands perform in the pregame, usually the home team, and then the visiting team ends up being able to perform at halftime. Well, since the senior night ceremonies were going on, only time to do both of those bands at halftime in tonight's game. So we've already seen the Mounties band, and now we're watching the Bearcat band. And Chad State's keeping an eye on his daughter out there, making sure she's doing the best she can.
She's doing what she's supposed to do.
And so once again, the scoreboard malfunctioned right at the end of the first half, and they decided to keep the power off on that because of a chip that's having a problem inside. No, it's not Intel.
Yeah, it's not Intel. And if they're not able to get that chip or get the scoreboard running, Dave, that means they're going to keep the time on the field. And
they did have it up and running after you had darted out there.
That's good. So hopefully
they decided to keep it off at halftime and then start it back up for the second half.
That's a good sign, because that could make life a little difficult for us. But,
yes, it certainly could.
It could. But if we have time now, we'll go ahead and look at halftime statistics.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, Bearcats with 9 first downs, Phillipsburg with 2. Net yards rushing, the Bearcats with 187 yards on the ground. Phillipsburg checking in with minus 16. Net yards passing, still it's neck and neck here. Huntingdon with 99, Phillipsburg with 101. So 35 total offensive plays for the Bearcats in that first half for 286 yards. Conversely, Phillipsburg 26 total offensive plays for only 85 yards. Huntingdon with 1 fumble loss, Phillipsburg with 2. Huntington's been penalized twice for 20 yards, and Phillipsburg has been penalized twice for 15. The one interception was thrown by Hootie in the end zone there in the second quarter. Individually, Huntington Border, 21 carries, 119 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Price, 1 carry for 41 yards. That was that beautiful jet sweep that we witnessed there in the second quarter. Jacob Wagner, 1 carry for 5 yards. Drew Weglars, 1 carry for 7. And Andrew Hootie, 2 carries for 7 yards as well. On the flip side for Phillipsburg, we're looking at Shady, 3 carries, 9 yards, and then it goes south in a hurry as Daniel Sligoski, 7 carries, minus 21 yards, and Keegan Perks, 6 carries for minus 4 yards. So the Phillipsburg ground game just going nowhere this evening against this tough Bearcat defense.
Perks was featured there early on, and it became evident that he was not going to be able to gain any yardage, and Brock Shady then was the go-to guy in their offense after that.
Absolutely. If we look at net yards passing, Hootie 7 of 9, 99 yards and 1 touchdown. Sligoski 5 of 10, 101 yards and 1 touchdown. Receiving end of things, Jonathan Price 4 catches for 81 yards, 1 touchdown. Jacob Wagner 1 catch for 6 yards. Alex Mikett 1 catch for 5, and Jarris Warner 1 catch for 7. And leading the way for the Phillipsburg Mounties, T.J. Thompson 2 catches for 81 yards. In that first half, though, Dave, we did see some records fall and some things happen that we haven't seen for a while. So we kind of want to highlight on that is Jonathan Price became the all-time leading receiver in receptions and yardage, breaking Courtney Geddick's record. Courtney checking in with 67 catches for 1,117 yards, and Price able to eclipse both of those for the career in the first half. Also, we saw Ian Border go over the 1,000-yard mark rushing for the Bearcats this season, and Andrew Hootie go over the 1,000-yard mark in passing for the season. And it's the first time since Huntington has done that since 2005 when Bucky Culbertson and Kyle Kuiper did it, the last time Huntington won a District 6 championship. So some good things happening.
One of the things that did happen there in the first half, it was a slow start for Ian Border, and almost looked like one of those situations where, you were playing on turf and you came out with your grass cleats on, or vice versa, as he had real trouble getting going as he was approaching the line. And then all of a sudden, I'm not sure whether anything in particular was changed, but he started to run with a lot of authority after that somewhat of a slow start in tonight's game for Ian Border. But he's a guy you never count out. I can't believe, still having watched it here, that he went off this field in a gator. That's, by the way, a device that John Deere makes that you can load things in this little bit of a back bed on this little tractor. And he was taken by gator to the locker room of the Bearcats and really didn't walk much after his ankle was injured there. And surprisingly to us, probably about 10 minutes later, he was back over on the sideline. He showed no particular noticeable differences because of the fact that had happened to him, and he was back out there ready to go. Now, I will say, that all being said, I have noticed a difference in him since that happened. He's still the key and most potent part of the offense. But, for example, last week he ended up with how many yards against Bald Eagle? 70-something?
Yeah, it was 70-something.
Yeah, so
67, I think.
Yeah, so it was not what we've come to expect. You get to a point, and we have to always remember that these are high school children, so to speak. Young men has been a term that's been used, but the bottom line is they're young, and you get to a point where you start to expect these kinds of things. You see Border putting up big yardage night after night, and it's just you kind of expect it to happen, and you can't do that. You can't do that. They're high school guys.
That's right.
And it's just one of those things. And now tonight, after probably about 3 carries, would you say, there at the beginning?
Yeah.
He ended up, all of a sudden, he was back to Ian Border that started the season.
Yep.
So.
Yep. Through 7 carries, Ian had 15 yards. Through 21 carries, and now has 119. So, yes, it did pick up after that. But, the one thing that injury did was just start to highlight the Huntington passing game, which has just become a viable, a weapon for these Bearcats is, like I said before, when one weapon goes down, another one emerges, and the Bearcat passing game has emerged out of that for opposing defenses to look at to say, okay, what do we do next?
Well, it's a football night, and that includes a college game, a big one, and a big, right now, upset brewing as the Orange of Syracuse are leading Clemson 17-14 with 3 minutes left in the half. And by the way, Greg Banks has informed me we're country folks. Everyone has a gator or golf cart down here. Because I explained what a gator was.
I don't have one.
Well, what's wrong with you?
I know.
You city slicker.
I'm a city slicker that lives on the outskirts of town, so who knows?
Another score in high school, BG 49, Central Cambria at the half.
And Mount Union leading Bellwood Annis 28-21 at the half.
Ooh,
Juniata Valley, it is a good game. Juniata Valley 22-6 over Moshannon Valley, that score in the third quarter. Also, third quarter score, Forest Hills 25, Penn Cambria 0. And the game of the night, as far as I'm concerned, matches Bellefonte versus Central. In the third quarter, Bellefonte leading Central 21-14.
Speaking of country folks, suddenly I smell bacon. Somebody bring bacon in?
I don't know, but we need to find that person in a hurry.
Leave the broadcast booth without bacon.
He just became my new hero on Friday nights. If they're able to deliver me a slice of crispy bacon,
why? Betcha.
Because everybody likes it.
Yes, America's food. Anyway, getting ready for the second half here as the P.O. Mounties will have to tee the football up and kick it away to Huntingdon, who had serious momentum going into the second half. Another nice effort by the coaching staff and the players into a 2-minute drill situation, utilization of timeouts and good plays, driving down the field and putting one in before the half was over. And as a matter of fact, so efficient that they left 44 seconds on the clock for Phillipsburg to try to do something, but they were unable to do so. Keegan Soltis to kick off. And he's got the ball away, spinning side to side, gets past Jonathan Price, rolling down and into the end zone for a touchback. Bearcats ball 1st and 10 at their own 20.
Price kind of just gave away as that ball went zipping past him, kind of like a line drive to an outfielder there. It kind of got past him. A good thing that rolled into the end zone, and Huntington will get the ball at their 20-yard line here to start the second half.
So the Bearcats trying to continue what they were doing there at the end of the first half and keep things going. Some different things that we saw out of the Bearcats. We didn't dwell on it here in our halftime summation, but we saw the rebirth of the I formation for this Bearcat team.
And also saw the Wildcat come out too. So
yes.
Offensively diverse, Dave.
Now in the shotgun. Man in motion, Wagner, and flags go up before the play even starts, and a false start against the Bearcats.
Illegal procedure against
Huntington's third for 25 yards. And we've seen them in the last couple games, Dave, cut down on those penalties. Last week they only had one penalty. Tonight they've got 3 for 25. And I think the game before that they only had 3. So they're starting to slice into that bugaboo, so to speak, that they had with penalties.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things you hope as a coach that solves itself maybe after 2 games, but sometimes that'll linger on a little bit further. And it did for the Bearcats, but now they're getting things back under control. Price in motion, handoff to Border. Border over the 15, 20, out near the 25-yard line, picking up 10 on the carry is Ian Border, and we're getting back to some more vintage.
Yes, and he's running like the Ian Border of old. Now you just saw him; he just lowered the boom on that linebacker as he tried to bring him down and picked up 10 hard yards.
11:40 left to go in the third quarter. A 28-6 Bearcat lead, and we hear Katie Couric is in Johnstown filming a Nat Geo special, and she's at the McCourt Johnstown game. How about that? Little jet sweep action. Jacob Wagner. Jacob gets out near first down yardage, and I'll tell you what, he was really focused. He knew that he needed to get to the 30, and that looked to me that was exactly what he did. Well, let's see how the spot turns out.
Yeah, they're moving it back a little bit further than what I thought, because I thought he
got
danced.
It back at the 29.
Yeah, I thought he danced across the 30 there near the sideline, but officials are going to spot it about a yard short here.
Of course, that was all done to the far side of the field, so we're just surmising based on what it looked like to us, but it obviously looked different to the officials. Third down and a yard, and it's Ian Border, and he gets up to the line of scrimmage and then barrels ahead for about 8 more as he gets it out to the 38-yard line. So give him a gain of 9 on that play.
And he's just squaring up his shoulder pads now and just saying, "Stop me." I mean, he is now back to the back that we're used to seeing.
As I said, vintage Ian Border returning to the field.
It's 138 yards now for Ian.
Yeah, I'd say he's back.
Yeah.
No need.
Just in time, too.
No need for concern. Now, just as a note, his left leg is taped a lot more heavily than what his right ankle is. And here's another handoff to Border. Gets over the 40, 45, midfield, and he's brought down. He is ridden to the ground by Luke Smartwood, the punter for the Phillipsburg Osceola Mounties. Smartwood at 6 foot and 200 pounds, able to bring down Ian Border. Border, of course, is the senior on this team at 6 foot and 210. That's a pretty good matchup between he and Smartwood.
Border now with 6 carries of 10-plus yards or more on the evening, 150 yards rushing.
Ball in midfield, man in motion. Handoff, though, to Border. Border goes over the 50, and he fumbled the ball at the end. He was down by contact at the 46-yard line of Phillipsburg Osceola, a gain of 4, and a 2nd down and 6. And the chain gang did not get any better at halftime. They just kind of plant that stuff wherever they want to.
We just absolutely.
They're kind of like they're down at Raystown Lake trying to plant flags on islands.
Or Baker Mayfield planting a flag in the middle of an AstroTurf field.
Whoopsie.
Oops, not going to stick.
9:45 left to go. Hootie rolling to his left, makes the pass complete to Jacob Wagner, has a 1st down and more over the 40, the 35, and knocked out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. So a nice 13-yard gain by Jake Wagner and another 1st down for the Bearcats. And as I said, you know, when you're on these kinds of streaks like the Bearcats have been on and having an undefeated season, if you have that opportunity to build momentum going into halftime, knowing that you're getting the kickoff to start the second half, these are the types of situations that can really put a game in your back pocket almost. And a delayed handoff to Ian Border by Andrew Hootie, and Border gets down over the 30 to about the almost a 28-yard line. So another pickup of almost 4 yards on the carry. We'll have to give him 3, though, on that.
Yeah.
Make it a 2nd down and short 7. Smartwood, once again, almost a man coverage type situation, and it seems as though Andrew Hootie is.
And we've seen games with
Luke Smartwood.
Yeah, we've seen games with Border being able to get through the first line of defense are untouched. Not tonight.
Hootie rolling to his left, pass complete. Down over the 20, the 15, at the 10, and finally bumped out of bounds is Ben Briggs. Always good to see Ben getting into the action. I'll tell you what, you talk about a guy that really would have the attention of any coach at a higher level. And Ben Briggs at 6'3", 200 pounds. A very athletic guy with good hands, too.
Absolutely. And he does have the attention of a college coach. It's going to be Pitt Johnstown calling out Ben's name, as he's going to attend University of Pitt Johnstown on a baseball scholarship.
All right, Ben. Love the baseball guys. Shotgun for Hootie. Behind him is Ian Border, and Border goes out the block for Hootie, who goes into the end zone after being touched up around his shoulder pads. And really delayed for about a split second, and then just squirted right through and into the end zone to make it a 34-6 Bearcat lead with 8:40 left to go in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, nice job that time by Andrew Hootie, just following his lead blocker, which was Ian Border, straight up
nice
through.
Nice guy to have blocking for you.
Yeah, that's exactly what you want to have happen. So
Gio Scotch in to attempt the point after. By the way, it looks as though possibly by next season that the parking lot that's between here and the baseball field and the Little League field will probably be paved. If nothing less, they're going to have lights in that parking lot, because I saw the stuff to put the cement in the ground. Gio missed another one.
Yeah, he did.
Wide
he
left.
Pulled it left, and not an untypical night for Gio.
And that's his. If he has a weakness, everyone that I remember whether it be a point after or a field goal that he has missed this season, it's because it's gone to the left. He's pulled it. And so that's just a point of reference there. And for some reason tonight, it has come up to bite him a couple of times now with points after. Score staying at 34-6 in favor of the Bearcats with a failed point after attempt. 8:40 left to go here in the third quarter. By the way, join us for Monday Night Sports Talk. It says here, the most active sports talk show in the region. Well, who knew?
Last week was active, though. We had lots of people call in. We had guests actually call in to stick around. So
yes, we did. Could be hearing from Joe Pillett this week. Also, Steve Miller, both of whom Joe, part of our broadcast, and Steve Miller normally does the play-by-play for the Bald Eagle area Eagles. And they may be joining us both on Monday night as the scoreboard took a you-know-what. Yeah, it's not quite functioning the way it's supposed to at this particular point in time. It's in the reboot right now. It comes up. Let's see if it shows the time and the score. Nope. It went back in. It's having, as those of us who have had problems with our phones come to know, as a boot loop. It's not a Fruit Loop. It's a boot loop.
Well, the one thing
keeps going back and rebooting on its own.
We're not going to know what time is left in the quarter here, so that time is probably going to end up being having to kept on the field.
Not a good thing for us guys here, because we always try to keep you up to date as to how much time is remaining, and we are at the 8:40 mark here as the scoreboard went kaflooey again. So there's something new that they'll be buying for. I was hoping they'd just erect another one at the other end of the field so I didn't have to bring a camera with me.
There, right in that corner, right beside the War Vets.
The War Vets
would be perfect.
Memorial
would be the
there.
perfect angle. Block the parking lot nicely, so you don't have to see all the cars down there. And
yeah, good stuff. Like you're thinking.
But really good. But
too bad you're not on the school board.
No. I'm on a lot of things, but not the school board.
All right, they'll continue to work on the scoreboard right now, unfunctioning, and it tried again, and it's, as I say, stuck in a boot loop. This is a line drive that hits at about the 25 by Gio Scotch. It bounces down to about the 16-yard line. It's returned from there out over the 25 to about the 28-yard line.
On the return for the
may call it 29. Let's go with the 29. 1st and 10 for Phillipsburg Osceola, and a demoralizing start to them as the Bearcats put a long drive together and score 6.
As I have noted, Huntington has not given up a point in the third quarter. I'm sure they want to try to protect that here.
Yes.
They have not given up a point in the third quarter all season long.
That's pretty remarkable, really, when you come right down to it. Like the games we were in against Bellefonte and Clearfield, you'd have thought that they may have been able to sneak something in, but neither Clearfield nor Bellefonte. Handoff, and boy, there was some heavy tackling done that time. And you know what? Squirting out of that, Brock Shady.
He's going to pick up 2 yards, but he paid the price for that one.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. Some good hits by the Bearcat defense to bring him down right at the 30-yard line, needing to get out to the 38 for a first down. Oh, by the way, there's no official thing about us being the most active talk show. Greg Banks says it's the only sports talk in the town. So, all right, back to pass. It's Daniel Slogoski. Let's it go down the sideline. Is that reeled in? Yes, it is. It is caught by T.J. Thompson in Bearcat territory at the 46-yard line, and that's a big one for Slogoski to complete, as that is a 24-yard completion.
Yep.
And T.J. Thompson's had a couple thrown to him that he was unable to reel in, but he looked right on target that time as he pulled it in and was able to pick up a first down for the Mounties.
Good pass play that time by Slogoski. He's an athlete. I mean, we've seen him put the ball where he's supposed to put it tonight.
Slogoski back to pass. Throws it toward the sideline. Pass is complete again, down to about the 39-yard line. Pass completed that time to Hubler. Josh Hubler with the catch. Well, you talk about a tight end, 6'3", 2 1/4. Once again, salivation territory for a coach at a higher level.
We've seen a lot of big tight ends. I mean, Huntington has a pair out here. The Laver kid from Juniata is a big tight end. We're going to see another one next week in Austin Garner from Central. So there's a lot of big, solid tight ends here in Central Pennsylvania.
And that's such an integral part of football at the collegiate and the pro level. Here comes a quick handoff to Brock Shady. Shady will pick up probably about 2 yards and end up about a yard short of a first down here to set up a 3rd down and 1. Bearcats leading the game by a score of 34-6.
That ball got awfully close to the first down marker, closer than what I thought it was going to be. I'm surprised they're not measuring it here at this point in time.
And the ball seems to have a little drift to it when
it does, doesn't it?
Being placed tonight. 3rd down, way less than a yard if you're looking across the field. And it's a quick pass, and once again a completion to Josh Hubler for a Phillipsburg Osceola first down, being knocked out of bounds at the 30-yard line. So a couple of, once again, you get back to that, how quickly you execute that. And that can be the difference between being sacked, fumbling, or completing a pass and getting a first down.
And good quick passes by Slagowski. He's releasing them really quick to his receivers.
There's no backpedaling, not a lot of time spent.
No hesitation.
Yeah. There's a low snap picked up by Slagowski, and he hands the ball off to Brock Shady. Shady gets over the 30 and is brought down at about the 28-yard line for a gain of 2.
Shady on the carry.
2nd down and 8.
Weglars.
And the Mounties in to hurry up now.
Phillipsburg coming in. Their leading rusher was Matt Johnson. We haven't seen him have a carry all game long. Second leading rusher was Brandon Anderson, and he hasn't had a carry all night long. It's been Brock Shady and Keegan Perks carrying the load here for the Mounties this evening.
2nd down and 8. Back to pass, Slagowski. Nobody to pass to. Now does find somebody. Rolls one to the end zone, and it's a jump ball, and it goes incomplete as Matt Johnson was the intended receiver, and Andrew Finkel was right there with him in the end zone.
Yeah, and Finkel just about another inch more on his vertical, and he'd been able to intercept that ball. But good coverage that time by the strong safety.
Well, I don't think Finkel knew the ball was coming there, too. When it was about halfway in flight to the end zone was when Andrew realized that Johnson, that is, was turning around to try to catch the pass, and a good reaction by Finkel to break that one up. Here's a pass that's blocked at the line of scrimmage, was in the air, and Ben Briggs almost had himself a pick 6.
Yeah, absolutely. Micah got his big arms up that time and was able to block that pass. We've seen Micah do that throughout the season here, right at the line of scrimmage, be able to, he's let's get his size. How big is Alex Micah here?
Alex is 6'4", 210.
That's a big frame to throw over top. And when he extends his arms, it gets even bigger. And a tip ball like that almost fell into the hands of Ben Briggs, and he was off to the races if he makes that catch.
4th down and 8, and this is a good spot to go for it when you're down 34-6. And Slagowski is going to be sacked at the 38-yard line, and the Bearcats are going to have great field position at their own 38-yard line. Once again, scoreboard failure here at the field. I see it's lit up there, Chad. Is the time on the scoreboard there?
I'll look and see. Yeah, it says 6:38. So Mike's got.
Okay.
Oh, he's saying it's about a minute off, so it's about 7:38 here at this point.
5:38.
Okay,
yeah.
So it's a minute plus. 5:38.
So 5:38 left to go in the 3rd quarter. 34-6. Bearcats with the lead. And the Bearcats trying to add a little bit more here in quarter number 3. And once again, we have Andrew Hootie out as a receiver. And it's a handoff to Price. Price with the jet sweep. And near tackle at the 35, but he gets away from that and gets out over the 40 to the 41-yard line. So all of that running and hard effort does pick up about 3 yards for Jonathan Price. He kind of looked like a little bit like Border there. The way I thought he was down probably right at the line of scrimmage. and a little border-esque running by
He has
Jonathan
that unique
Price.
ability to keep his feet. And
He does.
Yep, and we saw it on that play.
Andrew Hootie out there as a receiver again, as Nick Troha is quarterbacking now, hands the ball off to Ian Border over the 40, 45 out the midfield and into Phillipsburg Osceola territory at the 49-yard line. First down, Bearcats.
Yeah, 169 yards now on the ground on 27 carries for Ian Borders. He's just picking up chunks of yardage every time he's touching the ball now, Dave.
Yeah, he is, whatever comments we made early on about Ian, he is back to his old self.
He's found his feet.
Yeah, he certainly has. Hootie out in the pattern. He is on the right side along with Price, who now motions to the left. Troha hands the ball off to Border over the 50. And, boy, I'll tell you what, the other thing you can see is we can't actually see their faces, but you can tell that vision is there by Border, and he's just seeing further down the field to try. He's trying to figure out where he can outmaneuver somebody to gain even more every time he has the ball.
Absolutely, Dave. And 171 yards now for Ian as he's just chewing up time with this good ground game that Huntington has.
2nd and 6. Troha rolling to his left. Lets it go down the sideline. The pass is complete to Price at the 20, the 10. Goes in unmolested for another Bearcat touchdown. Nick Troha gets to add some stats to his line tonight with that pass completion to Jonathan Price.
46 yards on that pass completion, and you can see Jonathan Price has a great set of hands. He ripped that ball away from the defender. And not only is he just gets it done in every phase of the game. Dave, he's a complete wide receiver.
So the Bearcats will go for 2 here because of the previously missed extra point by Gio Scotcha. Both Troha and Hootie out there as we get set. As we know, Troha can catch the ball too, along with throwing it. He's going to be your quarterback, though, as Hootie comes to the near sideline on the right side. Price in motion, hand off to Border, up the middle, will not get in. So the point after attempt is no good, and it leaves the score Bearcats 40 and Phillipsburg Osceola 6.
Approximately 3:47 to go in the quarter.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
Oh, my, what a big surprise this score is now. As Greg Banks reports in the third quarter, Johnstown leading Bishop McCourt by a score of 10-7.
Wow.
I thought there was some sort of rule that was you couldn't beat McCourt. Basically because they always have such a great team. That's why you can't beat McCourt. But Johnstown's beating them right now by a score of 10-7. Maybe it's the inspiration of having Katie Couric at the game. By the way, you can be a part of Bearcat football broadcast during the upcoming playoffs by making a contribution to help defray our costs with the PIAA in the postseason. Send a check to Greg Banks at P.O. Box 56, Huntingdon, PA, 16652. We'll acknowledge everyone that gets involved here in the postseason, alumni, groups, or organizations during each broadcast. We'll let the folks know who helped us to bring you the games in the postseason on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. And on a damp day, the temperature going down, and it is noticeably chilly at Huntingdon Moore Vets Field. It's the hot Bearcat offense, though. Up by 34 at this point.
Just got noted
40-6.
4 minutes left to go quarter here. 4 minutes to go, third quarter.
And a nice kickoff by Scotcha, taken at the 10-yard line, out over the 15, the 20. And tied up there as he hesitated the return. I think that's Brian. And Brian is eventually brought down at the 25-yard line. So he gets 13 on the return. And a 1st and 10 for the Mounties.
Dave, I am scurrying to look to see who has the receiving yards mark, which is, for a game, it is Jonathan Price with 149 against Forest Hills in 2016. The reason why I'm scurrying is because he has 5 catches for 127 yards right now. So he's closing in on breaking another record, one that he already holds.
And you can expect that he's going to be in the pattern at some point between now and the end of the game.
Yep.
He'll be in a pattern that would allow him to break that. And back to the running play as Brock Shady, the ball carrier, will get back to the line of scrimmage, and that's all. And it'll be a 2nd down and 10 with the ball at the 25-yard line of Phillipsburg Osceola. Little promise for the Mounties there in their last possession with the pass completions, but they did come up empty on 4th down. One of the big changes was the quickness that Daniel Slogoski was able to get rid of the football in these pass plays. No huddle. Play brought in from the sideline. Slogoski in the shotgun. Lets it go across the middle, and the pass is complete. T.J. Thompson.
Slogoski's pass.
Had a couple. No, I'm sorry. That was not Thompson. That was Brandon Anderson. So some redemption for Brandon, as he had at least 2 in the first half that should have been caught. And he reeled that one in nicely. Nice pass by Slogoski. And a 1st down for the Mounties, 1st and 10 at their own 45 in the dwindling minutes of the 3rd quarter. Slogoski fakes. No, he does go through with a handoff to Keegan Perks. And Perks gets over the 45 and is knocked out of bounds at about the 49-yard line. So that's a gain of 4 and a 2nd and 6 for the Mounties, trying to put something together here in the 3rd quarter.
It's the first time we've seen Perks carry the ball since the 1st quarter.
Good point. And, of course, the Bearcats trying to keep that 3rd quarter shutout for the season going on here.
Approximately 2:39 left to go as I look over my right shoulder at the scoreboard. It's running internally here in the press box. Not able to put it out on the board out in the field, but we have time being kept here in the press box. So approximately 2 minutes and 39 seconds to go, 3rd quarter.
Draven Zook comes out of the game, and Ian Border goes in for him defensively here. And Draven is having a bit of a problem. So the training staff is over there talking to him at this point, trying to make sure everything is okay. Slogoski back to pass across the middle, almost tipped and intercepted, as getting his paw up there was Ryan Corey, tapping it up in the air. But unfortunately, in that tip drill, there was nobody in behind him to catch that deflected pass.
And that's the 4th pass breakup for the Bearcats tonight, to go along with 4 sacks on the evening, too. So, this Bearcat defense just keeps racking up the good stats.
Big 3rd down here for Phillipsburg Osceola, and a big 3rd down for the Bearcat defense. Slogoski looking downfield across the middle, and the pass is incomplete. Pass intended for Matt Johnson, and defensive coverage that time.
Andrew Finkel.
Came by Finkel.
Yeah, and whenever Finkel went up for the pass, to deflect that away, the receiver's hand came down and hit him right in the face mask and kind of whipped his neck around. You can see Andrew grabbing his neck right now. It just kind of jerked his neck around in a very uncomfortable way.
But he's back up and he's ready to go.
He's tough.
There is a penalty being assessed against Phillipsburg Osceola.
It's like a 5-yard penalty against them. Maybe a incidental face mask type deal is what they're calling there.
Yeah.
Which would be what it would be. That would be a 5-yard penalty.
Well, the line of scrimmage was the 49. They have it back near the 40-yard line now. So it looks like it was a 10-yarder.
Yeah. Yep, 10-yarder.
Slogoski in the shotgun, bounce to him, short hops it, now tucks and runs. He's out over the 45. Starts to get near midfield and
Slogoski on the keeper,
kind of showing the tenacity of many NFL quarterbacks, darting for the sideline. Don't hit me.
When Ryan Corey's running at you, you're going to dart for the sideline.
Hit me.
Yep.
So Corey did make contact, but all on the up and up, and it's a 4th down now for the Mounties as they get about 9 yards back after that penalty. So it's a 4th down and 6. And it would appear as though the Bearcats jumped offside. Landon Fisher in a little bit too much of a hurry, but here's the good news. It still does not give the Mounties a 1st down.
It just inches it a little bit closer. Makes their play call a little bit different here.
Yes, they can definitely change that up. where they may have been looking at a pass play before. It may be a guaranteed handoff to Brock Shady. And we'll see what happens.
It's like about 1:33 left to go here in the third quarter, Dave.
Bearcats trying to keep that season shutout of any opposition.
And that's huge. I mean, if you can keep your opponent from scoring in the third quarter and gaining any momentum in the second half, it's just absolutely huge.
Juniata Valley clobbering Mo Valley now, 35-6 in the third quarter. Here's a pass play. It is complete to the near sideline. First down and more, as eventually Keegan Perks is knocked out of bounds right at the 40-yard line, it looks like. Jarris Warner knocking him out of bounds and making sure he was out of bounds. It was an emphatic little escort to the out of bounds. And we have a player down on the Bearcat sideline.
Slegoski up to 166 yards passing on the evening. That's the only way they're able to find success. And Dave, we talked about it earlier. And Phillipsburg's going to have to pass to do anything tonight.
Yeah. And finally, they have this second half has been really good to that end. More football coming your way tomorrow at noon. We'll begin our coverage of Pitt Panther football as they host the 20th ranked Wolfpack of North Carolina at Heinz Field, and there'll probably be 150 people there to watch. We may have more listening on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon than there may be at Heinz Field. I have felt bad for the Panthers to the fact that they don't draw well, but then again, when the football team is certainly in the position they're in this year, you're not going to draw a lot of people in Pittsburgh. You certainly need to have something else. And getting up and making his way over to the Mounties sideline is Josh Bryan. So Bryan, the injured player, gets up and he's taking a somewhat wobbly walk toward his sideline.
Yeah, he's being held in the back there and directed over to the sideline. A couple scores from around the region. Again, fourth quarter action, Mount Union 34, Bellwood 28. Juniata 41-6 over Moshannon Valley. That a fourth quarter score. Forest Hills 25, Penn Cambria 6 in the fourth quarter. Bellefonte 35-22 over Central. That score in the fourth quarter. And Central Syracuse continues to lead Clemson 17-14.
Central's playing Clemson. We got a problem next week.
Well, that's exactly right. Yes, we do.
By the way, saying hi to Peg Bennett tonight. Peg, a follower of the Bearcats on 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Glad you're there, Peg. Slegoski back to pass, and it slips out of his hands as he lets it go, and it just is a wounded duck flying out there. And it was Jonathan Price with the coverage on T.J. Thompson, and Price is slow to get up.
Yeah, but he's just looking at his...
This could be whether he had the air knocked out of him
or it's his
he's staying flat on his
calf
back
area. Looked like he was signaling for his boys to pull him up, but didn't. He just kind of stayed down. So we'll see what this is.
Training staff out there now, as one of the Huntingdon trainers had gone over to the Mountie sideline to help with Josh Bryan.
Like he could have.
Yeah, it looks like a cramp, perhaps.
Yeah, in the calf region.
Yeah. And now Price gets up. Oh, baby, I know how much that hurts.
Yep.
I hate that when it happens to me at about 3 o'clock in the morning. Aye.
You can see him doing a little bit of a speed walk there, trying to work it out. He's a tough nut. He'll come back.
I'll tell you
He'll be back in this lineup tonight.
Yeah.
But no worries. Now he's hobbling off, so we're not too worried about what's going on down here with Jonathan as he's able to quickly him up. That leg is stiffened up on him pretty good here.
Tough to keep Jonathan Price down, that's for sure. After the passing completion on the wounded duck, it is a 2nd down and 10 for the Mounties as the third quarter clock continues to roll. Slegoski, the quarterback, pulling the old starting to call the signals, then stopping to look over at the sideline. If you watch Penn State, that's something that McSorley does on a regular basis. Finally, the snap, and a big a blitz that time by the Bearcats, but Slegoski's able to get the pass away for about 5 yards, completing it to the far sideline, completing one to Matt Johnson.
Yeah, Drew Weglar is all over that. Johnson wasn't getting another step on that pass as he just dropped him or he caught it, Dave.
But I'll tell you what, Micah was on a tear right towards Slogoski. Slogoski kept his wits about him and was able to complete the pass. So coming up dry on the blitz that time, the Bearcats looking for another sack. 3rd down and 5. Boy, it looked like that receiver on the far side left early, passed down the field, and Bearcat defender had a better shot at it than the receiver did. That was that Grubb, Dylan Grubb down there?
Yep, sure was. Dylan Grubb, the senior, getting some playing time now with Price out here on the bench being looked at. Or where did he go?
He's right here.
Yeah, he's right here standing up. So that's a good sign. Right beside the trainer, getting some Gatorade and
trying to get that cramp to go bye-bye.
Unofficially, it's looking like 29 seconds left to go here in the 3rd quarter.
And it is a 4th down and 5. And, of course, the Mounties are going for it.
4th time they've done that tonight.
Slogoski with the pass. Intercepted. Is that Ian Border?
That's Ian Border.
50, 40, 30, 20. Good night. Send us a postcard from the end zone. Ian Border with the interception and return the old pick 6.
70 yards.
Adding on to the Bearcats' lead. And I've suddenly, my brain has lost track. Is that 46-6 now?
Yes, 46-6.
All right. Let's see. It's going to be Gio Scaccia coming out for a 2. Not the 2, but we're going to forego the 2-point attempt. And Gio's going to go back out there and try to kick an extra point.
It's Huntington's
He's missed 2 tonight.
That's Border's 2nd interception return for a touchdown we've seen this year. The first one came in the Bellefonte game. It was an all-important one as Bellefonte was starting to storm back into that game, and then Ian with the big interception, about a 60-yard return for a touchdown in that one. So Ian here kind of sealing the deal.
Gio nails that one.
Yep, that one's through the uprights.
And it makes the score Bearcats 47 and the Mounties 6. And I can't tell you how much time is left in the quarter. It can't be much.
Approximately 16 seconds to go.
So it would appear as though the Bearcats' 3rd quarter shutout for the season is going to continue for another game.
It's an amazing stat. That's an amazing stat.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the reasons the team has continued to have the success that they have had, because going back to both the Bellefonte and the Clearfield games in particular, those second halves featured attempted comebacks by both of those teams, and it was the Bearcat defense that kept them off the scoreboard and kind of demoralized them. Well, the whistle is blown on the field, so we are at the end of the 3rd quarter. And that's time for us to let you hear a few commercials. The score at the end of 3 at Huntingdon War Vets Field is the Bearcats 47 and Phillipsburg Osceola 6. More after this on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, DC Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. DC Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence. All-American Pizza and Subs in downtown Huntingdon at 612 Washington Street is the home of the new Bearcat Sub. Enjoy mozzarella cheese with bacon, crispy chicken, sour cream and chive fries, and our top-selling wing flavor, Mactown Gold, all wrapped on a fresh homemade roll. Try the Bearcat plus our many other great pizzas and subs at All-American Pizza and Subs. Don't forget their new Pepsi flavor shots, too. All-American Pizza and Subs will donate $1 for every pizza sold during October, with proceeds going toward breast cancer research. Call 643-0222 for delivery. Open till 9, closed Mondays.
I'm Owen Kaufman. You're listening to Huntington Bearcats on the airnetwork.net.
And welcome back to Huntingdon War Vets Field. The scoreboard is back amongst the living, along with Dave Shannon and Chad States. And 11:44 left to go in the football game. as the Bearcats up by a score of 47-6, and I think we're in the continuous clock now.
We are in the continuous clock, so it will continue to roll here throughout the fourth quarter.
Kickoff was returned. How much of a return that time? By the way, Josh Bryan, who wobbled off the field, was the return guy that time, as he gets out to the 28-yard line on that return. And the handoff, not sure.
Looks like Perks again. Yep, Perks on the carry.
Keegan Perks. And Perks ends up picking up about a yard, second down and 9. So the Bearcats,
Perks on the carry for the
once again looking to go 8-0 in 2017.
By Corey on the play.
And 2 regular season games remaining, Central and Warren, to come on the schedule. Central next week.
That's a big one. We'll try and get that score, what they're doing against Bellefonte here in a second.
Here on the airnetwork.net. Once again, it is Keegan Perks, and Perks gets out near first down yardage. I think he's going to be about a yard short when they eventually mark it. But who knows? The ball marks have been somewhat odd here throughout the course of tonight. It is third down and a yard, though. So one worked out the way we thought it would. By the way, Johnstown leading McCourt 16-7 in the fourth quarter. And big news, tonight's rebroadcast will be at 10:30.
Hey,
on the
early.
airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
Bellefonte continues to lead Central 35-22 in the fourth quarter.
Handoff once again to Perks. Perks out over the 40 to the 41-yard line. The gain good for a Phillipsburg Osceola first down.
Tripped up on the play by Weckler.
Good job that time by Perks, as he's now 10 carries, 12 yards. He's the leading ground gainer for Phillipsburg this evening. Not a lot of room out there to run for him, though, Dave. 171 yards passing for Daniel Slogoski, though. So
been a nice game. Once he got into a rhythm, he has really put up the yardage. Clock rolling, under 10 left to go here in the football game, and a 47-6 Bearcat lead. Long time before the snap. Eventually it goes off, and the handoff comes over to the near side with Brock Shady. No, I'm sorry, it's not Shady. This time it's Luke Smartwood.
Yeah, a new ball carrier for Phillipsburg here. But as we saw, the defensive end that time, Ben Briggs, was just able to go ahead and get his big left arm out there and stop Smartwood from getting any further. Actually, it's a tackle for loss now.
Yes, as they mark him back about 4 yards, second and 14, and Smartwood was in for a play, and he's back out on the field. It's Keegan Perks. Second down and 14. Slogoski started the count and then looked over to the sideline. They don't have those big fancy signs like Penn State has that people hold up that have like a day of the week and a star and something else on them. Back to pass, Slogoski across the middle, and off the fingertips of his intended receiver was Perks on a screen pass that was set up as, once again, the Bearcats with that big rush.
Well, he had to hurry that pass as he was, staring at 2 Bearcat defenders coming really fast at him in the form of Landon Fisher and Ben Briggs. So Slogoski had to sling that out there as quick as he could and just skipped off his receiver's hands for an incomplete pass.
Just imagine, as a guy who's 5'10", $160, and I'll give you the weights of those 2 guys in a sec, pass down the near sideline and too far out of bounds, unable to jump, reach out, stretch, whatever. T.J. Thompson unable to reel it in.
Intended for Thompson is incomplete.
It'll set up a fourth down and 14, and of course the scoreboard took a you-know-what again. Oh, wait, pop back up for a second, and now it's gone. Oh, we'll try to improvise as we go along. We do know the clock is rolling.
Yep, 8:06 to go here, fourth quarter.
And a 48 or 47?
47.
47-6 Bearcat lead. Now, the one thing we do have the down, there we go. Clock's back up there.
It's Friday the 13th, Dave. So,
there you go. Well done, Chad.
It is
Glad
Friday
you brought that up. Slogoski, pass is complete this time to Landon McDonald, who gets out over the, they're going to mark him down right at the 45-yard line. Needed to get into Bearcat territory to get a first down, but he's dropped at the 45 of the Mounties. and the Bearcats take over on downs. And that was a fleeting moment with the old scoreboard. She's right back off again. That was like a quick date.
Yes.
So
maybe.
That was like a Tinder failure.
I wonder if there's a guy with a hockey mask who's just down there just torching the
chainsaw.
Chainsawing that scoreboard up so we can't see it.
Well, there is something going on. By the way, I have to tell you a story here after we see this first play with Nick Troha at the controls. Jacob Wagner in motion, handoff to Ian Border. He gets a little shove on the back right between the 4 and the 4 by his quarterback, Nick Troha. And apparently that gave him a little momentum. He gets down over the 40 of the Mounties to about the 38-yard line and picking up about 6 yards on the carry. It'll set up a 2nd down and 4. You know, there was a flight today that went to Helsinki, Finland, whose airport's abbreviation is HEL. The flight number was 666, and it was to take off at 1300 hours on this, the 13th day of October on a Friday. Jacob Wagner, by the way, has just run for a touchdown.
For a Bearcats touchdown.
So Jacob Wagner down the near sideline takes that one in, and the Bearcats add on to make it 53-6.
38-yard touchdown on the jet sweep, Dave.
The jet sweep is not overused by the Bearcats on offense, and that's what it's designed to be.
Right.
And it has been brought out at seemingly the right time every time it's tried.
Well, and the thing is, you can see Huntington has multiple people to be able to run it. It's not just Jonathan Price. You can run that with Wagner.
Yep.
You know?
Absolutely. Gio Scaccia for the point after attempt. It is up, and it is good.
And the point after attempt is good.
So the Bearcats add on.
54.
54 now for the Bearcats to the 6 for the Phillipsburg Osceola Mounties. By the way, once again, a welcome tonight to the all-new Save-A-Lot store, part of our broadcast tonight. When you want some really good groceries, head to the Save-A-Lot store off of 4th Street in the Peebles Plaza. Huntingdon Bearcat football for tonight. The Save-A-Lot store on board here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. We're happy to have them aboard as well. How long was that drive?
Not long. Tell you what, I've written a lot tonight. There's a lot of offense going down here for the Bearcats as Borders up to 29 carries for 177 yards. Wagner, 3 carries for 57 yards. Price, 2 carries for 43. We look over at the passing.
On to return for the Mounties are Brian and Johnson. Kicking for the Bearcats.
Am I looking at that right? He is, it looks like Hootie is 10 of 13 for 131 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Price, 5 catches for 127 yards. So absolutely incredible night all the way around for the Bearcats here.
Josh Bryan and T.J. Thompson deep to receive for Phillipsburg Osceola, and that is going to be Josh Bryan on the near side over the 20, the 25. Tripped up, actually kind of spun around there a bit by Ryder Kosick, and is stopped at the 25-yard line. You know, Kosick's an interesting story because I saw him a couple weeks ago here at War Vets Field in a boot.
Yes.
On his ankle, on his right ankle, and he's back out there and has contributed in a big way here tonight. Called Ryder's name several times.
Absolutely. Yeah, he's a contributor. He's one that's going to be an integral part of next year's team for sure. As he's a junior, a good junior class for Huntington, a good sophomore class for Huntington. So next year's, while you're going to miss his senior class, Huntington's got some good kids returning next year.
Slagoski, the quarterback, and it's a handoff to Keegan Perks, and Perks gets about a yard over the 25 to the 26, a 2nd down and 9.
Shope on the play.
It's just tough running all night long for Phillipsburg.
Yeah, sure is.
Just tough running.
Bearcats well in control of this game on a rolling clock. What do we have left there, Chad?
It's like about 6 minutes left to go.
About 6 left to go in the game.
17-17, Clemson and Syracuse are tied.
Here's a pass almost intercepted by Wagner as that post pattern across ended for Johnson. And Wagner and Johnson in kind of a jump ball situation. I thought Wagner had the better shot at catching that.
I did too. But again, it just shows the athletes that Huntingdon has out here in the secondary.
Yeah, it is one that if you can complete the passes, you're really pulling something off. Because these young men, as Chad said, it's kind of Steelers wish they had this kind of secondary. Slogoski rolling to his right, lets it go over the head of his intended receiver, Matt Johnson.
And the reason why it was over his head is because Landon Fisher had his arms up. And, the defensive line and the linebackers and the defensive ends do a great job of getting their arms up and making it hard for a quarterback to see downfield, but to throw over top of them.
Tell you what, Fisher's a guy that can impose his will on you. 6'3", 230.
Oh, you team him with Mikett and with Briggs out there, and you've got some redwoods out there that again makes it tough for you to throw over top of if you're a quarterback.
4th down now for Phillipsburg Osceola. Back to pass, Slogoski throwing deep, turning around and almost in a position to intercept is Drew Weglars.
About ready to make the Willie Mays interception on that one.
Pass intended for T.J. Thompson, and now the Bearcats have it at the 28-yard line. Let's make it the 27 of Phillipsburg Osceola. And a timeout called by the Bearcats as they get set for this possession. What do we got there in the clock?
4:47 to go on the clock is what I'm showing.
4:47 left to go, and the Bearcats are up 53?
It's 54. 54 to 6.
Okay.
And just so you get a hint of what this defense has done, Phillipsburg is 3 of 15 on 3rd downs, 1 of 6 on 4th downs. They have 7 total first downs for the game. So, the Bearcat defense is just, like I said, they've gotten better and better and better as we have seen the season go on.
Yeah, the only salvation that Phillipsburg could have hoped for is that they were able to get that big play stuff going. And they did have their one big play, but that was it.
Yeah, that's been it.
Do a touchdown.
I'll give Slogoski credit that he is doing a really, really good job of, using multiple receivers. He's completed passes to 8 different receivers tonight, Dave. So he's doing a really good job of finding the open receiver, and he had the opportunity to pad more to his stats. He's got 179 yards passing. Had it not been for some receivers dropping some balls that should have been caught out here.
I'll tell you what, his completion percentage has gone way up after the first quarter in tonight's game. Nonetheless, his team only able to produce 6 on the scoreboard, and Nick Troha continues at quarterback, and Drew Weglars is going to run over the 25 down to the 20 and just shy of the 15 at about the, we'll call it 17. Almost made it down to the 16. That looks like
should be about 11 yards.
I got to see how they're going to mark this because I see the side judge over there with a yard short.
Yep, they're going to show it 9. The ball looks a little bit further ahead than what the side judge has it.
Yeah,
so,
you got that right.
It's going to be a 9-yard gain, but it looks like
Wait a minute. The white hat has signaled.
He's going to have to.
He's going to have to intervene. Because
now they're saying it's a first down, which makes sense. Whatever. It's been very difficult for it has been. It's been very difficult for us to know where the ball is going to be spotted here.
Yep. The ball seems to drift even though no one's carrying it. All by itself. Troha with a handoff to Weglars, and Drew gets down to about the 11-yard line that time on that carry. He'll end up picking up
about 6 more. 6 more yards. 3 carries, 21 yards for Drew. And again, he just puts his head down and just keeps his legs moving. Does a real good job.
And in the early part of his running, he's very quick. He gets to the line in a hurry. And I'm not saying that Ian is slow by any stretch
not at all.
Of the imagination.
But it's a different pace.
Yes.
Which is exactly what you want to see out of your backup running back.
Troha to Weglars, 5, touchdown, Bearcats.
On the carry for a Bearcats.
12 yards out for Drew Weglars. and a touchdown. And again, it's a different pace than what Ian brings.
So the Bearcats put another one into the end zone, and that's our season high for points, as I recall.
Yes.
At 61 now? 60 points.
60 points on the nose.
And this would be 61 if Gio Scaccia can get it up and through. At which point it'd be 61-6. Coach Hootie is not trying to run up the score. He basically had his full second-team offense in there. Scotch's point after attempt is good, just inside that left upright. And it makes it 61-6 in favor of the Bearcats.
And no, to your point, Dave, we are not trying to, Huntingdon is not trying to run up the score, but, it's up to the defense to stop them. I mean, it's your second string running back, it's your second string quarterback. It's just that Huntingdon has depth and quality depth in those areas where it just makes it very, very tough for Phillipsburg to stop. I mean, when you bring Andrew Hootie out of the game and you put Nick Troha in, Troha is a very capable quarterback in his own right. We know Drew Weglars is a very capable running back. We've seen him
we
fill in
almost got a football.
Yeah, we've had it even rattle up against this, the press box from time to time. That's a good arm by the cheerleader down there. But again, it's the depth of this Huntingdon team that really impresses me throughout the season.
Yes. By the way, more football for you tomorrow. ACC football. North Carolina Wolfpack will be traipsing into Heinz Field to take on the Pitt Panthers. You'll be able to hear the action. Kickoff slated for high noon, and we'll have Bearcat football. This game is going to be on prior to the Pitt Panthers game tomorrow. Have it right here on theairnetwork.net and Community FM 94.1 in Huntingdon. Scotcha with the ball teed up, ready to roll as the Bearcats try to finish this off and put a capper on it. Leading the game 61-6. Scotcha lets it go. They could have called offside on that one. Taken on the near side by, it looked like T.J. Thompson that time, as Thompson gets out to the 25-yard line, picking up about 13 yards on the return. Gio Scaccia seems to be pretty much zeroed in at about the 10-yard line.
Yeah, about 50 yards just about every time. 48, 47, somewhere in there, just about every time.
And it doesn't matter pretty much what way he kicks it, whether it's end over end, spinning sideways, knuckling, spinning vertically. It's just, they all end up at
besides
the same
one
spot.
that he put on the ground down here, that's exactly what he's hit. 49, 50, 50, 40, 59, or 49, 48, 46, all over them.
Daniel Slagoski has been unable to get his team in the end zone for the sake of one big play earlier in the football game, and this handoff goes nowhere as the Bearcats are going to create another loss on a run play. As marked down at the 20-yard line is Keegan Perks. And that'll be a 2nd down and 15 now.
Another tackle for loss that time for the Bearcats as Phillipsburg continues to go backwards in the ground game.
Whoa, listen to this. Bellwood 35, Mount Union 34.
What a barn burner.
Yeah. Don't forget, you'll be able to hear this game coming up again at 10:30 tonight. There's a pass that's complete out into the far flat from Slagoski.
Slagoski's pass
completed to Derek Dixon.
Another new receiver.
Hey, rotate as many in as you can. Get them game experience. So once again, Bellwood over Mount Union 35-34 in the fourth quarter. And BG, well, who cares? My attitude about BG is somewhat like my attitude for Alabama. Who cares? They're beating Central Cambria 49-7. Slagoski, that post pattern was coming back with T.J. Thompson, but he threw it just a little bit behind Thompson that time. And he had such speed going on that post pattern that he just could not slow down and manage to get into a position to catch that.
And another failed 3rd down for Phillipsburg. They are now 3 of 16 on the night on 3rd down.
4th and a yard. And, of course, they'll go for it again.
1:17 left to go here unofficially.
And Slogoski is in trouble. They have him out of the pocket, rolling to his right now. Looking downfield, lets it go, and the pass is complete. What an effort as he completes it to T.J. Thompson at the 45-yard line of the Bearcats.
Yeah,
so a
20
fourth
yard.
down, their second fourth down conversion of the night, and sets them up 1st and 10 at the Bearcats' 45.
213 yards now for Slogoski, 125 receiving for Thompson. And that is going to be the end of the game.
Yeah, the clock has run out. So I guess you could say at least the Mounties got a positive thing right at the end of the game with that play. So after being beaten 61-6. Yes, that's our final score. Bearcats 61 and Phillipsburg Osceola 6 on a senior night, and the final regular season home game here at Huntingdon War Vets Field. Welcome back. Chad's going to do a little ciphering, and we'll tell you what he came up with right after this timeout. You're listening to Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.
Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of insured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon.
Sometimes facts are hard to face. Statistics show that obesity is a problem in the United States, and it's not getting any better. At Simone Family Chiropractic, we understand this problem. We also know that obesity leads to very serious health problems later in life. There is a way to cleanse your body and get back to optimum health. It is called the Doctor-Supervised Chirothin System, and it teaches you how and what to eat in the real world. Call us at Simone Family Chiropractic at 814-643-2616, or stop in and see us at 613 Washington Street in Huntingdon, across from All American Pizza, or find us on Facebook.
Penswood.net Classifieds offers the freshest, most recent classified ads available with over 1,500 new ads each day. If you're looking for a reliable used vehicle, check out the multiple ads daily on Penswood.net Classifieds. From cars, trucks, RVs, and motorcycles, you can scan the ads at Penswood.net at any time of the day or night and find something that fits your needs. Looking for household items, student housing, or even a new pet? Penswood.net Classifieds has it. Penswood.net, where you can buy, sell, or trade locally.
Catch the fresh fall savings now at the all-new Save-A-Lot in Huntingdon off of 4th Street in the Peebles Plaza. The all-new Save-A-Lot is a bright, clean, spacious store loaded with the freshest hand-cut meats, along with the freshest produce and groceries in the area. Check out their in-store specials. You'll always save more every day at the all-new Save-A-Lot store, right off of 4th Street at the entrance of the Peebles Plaza in Huntingdon.
Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing for affordable heating, plumbing, and drain cleaning services in Huntingdon. Count on 12 years of insured excellent service when it comes to heating, plumbing, ventilation, and drain cleaning. Call Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing, available evenings and weekends at an affordable rate. Call 814-506-5128. That's 506-5128 for Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing in Huntingdon. The Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223 is the heart of the community, and they've got loads of activities in October. The Moose proudly presents the Huntingdon Halloween Parade on Monday, October 23rd in downtown Huntingdon. Come on down with the entire family and enjoy the evening. Also in October, you can enjoy our Friday food specials beginning at 5 p.m. Then on Saturday, October 14th, it's Reboot from 8 to 11 p.m. There's always something happening at the Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223. So join us today.
Hi, this is Andrew Hootie. You're listening to the Huntingdon Bearcats on the airnetwork.net.
There's that Hootie kid. Thanks, Andrew. Welcome back to Huntingdon War Vets Field, where the Bearcats emerged victorious and improved their season mark to 8-0 in the final regular season home game, as they win this one by a final of 61-6 against the Phillipsburg Osceola Mounties. 2 games remain in the regular season schedule. Next week at Central, and the week after that in Warren, way up in the northwest corner of PA.
Way up in the northwest corner of PA.
So we will be bringing you that game right here on the airnetwork.net, along with the Central game, as we cover the Bearcats throughout the course of the 2017 currently undefeated season. And, of course, we've been talking about Central and trying to keep an eye on the game between them and Bellefonte over the course of the night. And Bellefonte, last report, was still leading that game, right?
Yeah, Bellefonte was leading that game. I think it was 35-28 at some point.
So still a good close game. And, you know, you can apply some things based on the game that we had against Bellefonte, although you got to remember our game against Bellefonte was much earlier in the season. So that's a completely
49-22.
49-22.
Wow.
So, yeah, Bellefonte defeating Central. And, you know, once again, you can't take anything for granted. It doesn't mean it's going to be an easy time for us against Central next week. That game, by the way, the Bellefonte game played at Bellefonte. And, of course, we'll be at Central next week. I'm glad that's not a glass-lined thermos. I'm glad it's made out of stainless steel. Otherwise, that baby was shot. Anyway, and if you know me, I have to have my coffee with me pretty much all day.
So while I pick that up,
I'll try and run through some. Well,
Chad's not going to cover for me while I pick up my mug.
I'm writing full right now, but we'll try and go ahead and give you some stats here for the Bearcats.
Right.
Huntingdon rolling up 327 yards on the ground, 177 through the air, so that is a total of 504 yards of total offense. Ian Border leading the way for the Bearcats, 29 carries, 177 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Andrew Hootie checking in with 17 yards on 3 carries for 2 touchdowns. Drew Weglar's 33 tough yards and 1 touchdown. Jonathan Price, 2 carries for 43 yards, and Jacob Wagner, 3 carries for 57 yards and 1 touchdown. So 6 touchdowns on the ground tonight for the Bearcats. So we look at the air. Andrew Hootie, 9 of 11, 1 interception, 131 yards and 1 touchdown. Nick Troha, 1 of 1 for 46 yards and 1 touchdown. Again, 177 yards through the air, 2 touchdowns. We look at pass receiving. Jonathan Price, 5 catches, 127 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, tonight was a record-breaking night for him as he became the Bearcats' all-time leading receiver in receptions and yards. Jacob Wagner, 2 catches for 19 yards. Jarris Warner, 1 catch for 7. Alex Mikett, 1 catch for 5 yards. And Ben Briggs, 1 catch for 19, as we see Huntington throw to the tight end tonight, Dave, for the first time all year. 2 catches there out of the tight ends. But, again, Huntington just getting it done offensively. If we look over at Phillipsburg, -1 yards on the ground rushing for the Mounties, and 213 yards for Daniel Sligowski, the gunslinging quarterback for PO, who had a whale of a game.
Yes,
I can't say enough about what he did. So 212 yards of total offense versus 504 for the Bearcats, and that pretty much tells you the entire story. Huntington coming out with a big interception return for a touchdown. Ian Border 70 yards down the far sideline, and this game was over in a hurry as Huntington just kept piling on points. And again, Dave, as you had pointed out, Huntington's most points scored so far this year at 61, and also not giving up another point in that third quarter. In fact, no points scored in the second half against this Bearcat defense.
Defense continues to perform well. The offense continues to light it up. Ian Border returning to his former self, as first couple of carries in this game were not exactly artistic endeavors or within the capabilities of Ian Border, but I'll tell you what, it didn't take long, and all of a sudden he was back to his old self, gaining those big chunks of yardage. When you see a guy that's ripping off 9 yards a carry,
absolutely.
It's just something to see.
Absolutely.
And he was back to that as the game rolled along tonight. So once again, the Bearcats continue undefeated, go to 8-0 with a 61-6 defeat of the Phillipsburg Osceola Mounties. That is setting up a big one next week as we head to Martinsburg, Pennsylvania, the home of the Blair County Airport. Actually, the Altoona Blair County Airport. Altoona has nothing to do with it. It takes 40 minutes to get from Altoona to Martinsburg.
Yes, it does.
So why that name is even included, I have no idea. Blair County Airport would have been fine, but hey, I don't I'm not the guy responsible for naming airports. So, oh, by the way, I never finished that. Did I fin? No. The flight today?
No, you did not.
The flight today that you could have been on, I forget which airline was doing this, but it was over in Europe, and you could fly to Helsinki, Finland. Helsinki, Finland's airport designation is HEL, H-E-L. The flight number was 666. The flight left at 1300 hours on today, Friday the 13th. Would have been a trip to be on, huh?
Yeah, we saw our own little Friday the 13th here with some freaky scoreboard activity going on.
Yes, indeed. That's going to do it for tonight. We'll see you next week, 6:45 pregame and 7 o'clock kickoff. It'll be the Bearcats taking on the Scarlet Dragons here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. For Greg Banks, the media mogul boss, and Chad States from Huntingdon Warvets Field.
Without a gator, by the way.
Yeah.
No gator.
I ain't got no gator.
I don't fit in. Sorry.
We'll see you next week here on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Good night, everybody. D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family are committed and dedicated to excellence by supporting quality education and athletics for all youth of Huntingdon County. For over 3 generations, D.C. Goodman & Sons and their staff of quality tradesmen have provided excellent service in the installation of plumbing, mechanical and industrial piping, electrical, and fire sprinkler systems. Residential services are also available. D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family will continue to serve the community, and thank you for your support. The Goodman family wishes you the best to all area students in your pursuit of excellence. All-American Pizza and Subs in downtown Huntingdon at 612 Washington Street is the home of the new Bearcat Sub. Enjoy mozzarella cheese with bacon, crispy chicken, sour cream and chive fries, and our top-selling wing flavor, Mactown Gold, all wrapped on a fresh homemade roll. Try the Bearcat plus our many other great pizzas and subs at All-American Pizza and Subs. Don't forget their new Pepsi flavor shots, too. All-American Pizza and Subs will donate $1 for every pizza sold during October, with proceeds going toward breast cancer research. Call 643-0222 for delivery. Open till 9, closed Mondays.
Thanks for listening to Bearcat Football on the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon. Tonight's game presented by Huntingdon Moose Family Center 223, the heart of the community, and by D.C. Goodman & Sons and the Goodman family. Tonight's game also brought to you by Simone Family Chiropractic at 613 Washington Street in downtown Huntingdon. Penswoods.net, the home of free classified ads. And by Austin Smith Heating and Plumbing of Huntingdon. Join us for rebroadcast of tonight's game throughout the week here on the Air Network and 94.1 FM. Get set for more live Bearcat action all season long, exclusively on the home of the Huntingdon Bearcats. This is the airnetwork.net and 94.1 FM in Huntingdon.